Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Yes.
The Yankees rallied and came close in yesterday's game. It was still, though, the Diamondbacks who came away celebrating a victory in Game 2. Tonight, the captain and his teammates look to get the bats going. The power, it's been on all year. Tonight, it's the New York Yankees, and they host the Arizona Diamondbacks on a Thursday night in the Bronx. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees batting practice today, presented by Audi. I'm Nancy Newman. The season-opening homestand ends tonight, taking to the road off the momentum of victory. That's the mission. Starting pitching has been a major factor thus far on the young season. On the mound is where we begin again this night. Let's get right to the key for the game, brought to you by your local Kia dealers. For the Diamondbacks, it's the right-hander, Merrill Kelly, who's coming off a win in his first outing of the season. And it will be Carlos Carrasco making his first start with the Yankees and his first start in the majors since August 7th of last year. Carrasco did get a tune-up appearance out of the Yankees bullpen on Saturday against the Milwaukee Brewers, allowing 3 earned runs in 2 innings of work. 2 of those runs came on 1 swing of the bat. A homer by Bryce Terang, but he also struck out a pair. Carrasco joined the Yankees on a minor league deal ahead of spring training and was lights out in camp, a 1.69 ERA in 5 spring games. He'll try to carry that momentum into tonight's game. It will be interesting to see what this version of Carrasco looks like. In that quick glimpse on Saturday, he leaned more heavily on his sinkers and sliders than maybe we saw in the past. And how about this? At 38 years old, Carrasco will be the oldest pitcher to start a game since CC Sabathia in September of 2019. In this series, the Diamondback starters have combined to strike out 21 batters in just 11 innings. And next up in line, it is Merrill Kelly. He's been very good against the Yankees in his career, going 7 innings while giving up 2 earned runs the last time he faced them, a year ago to the day, in fact. And he did give up a home run to Aaron Judge. He took him deep. Here are those career numbers against the Yankees for Kelly. He's 1-0 with a 2.60 ERA, allowing 2 runs on fewer in all 3 starts. He's not the overpowering sort with just 11 strikeouts in 17 1/3 innings, but he is still hard to hit, holding Yankees hitters to a 2.26 average. For the final game of this series, Aaron Boone is shaking up his lineup. Aaron Judge will start his first game of the season as the designated hitter. It'll be Ben Rice's first game of the year in the leadoff spot, and with Austin Wells getting a day off behind the plate, will mark the first of a career. J.C. Escara got 2 at-bats in a game against the Brewers last series, but this is the first time the 29-year-old sees his name in the starting lineup. He bats 8th. Cody Bellinger has had some success against Merrill Kelly, 2 doubles and a couple of homers in 26 at-bats against him. And for the D-backs, Lourdes Gurriel Jr. provided the big swing last night with that 2-run homer in the top of the first. It was his 2nd homer in the last 3 games. The Yankees held Arizona to just 3 hits last night, all in the first 2 innings. So much more to come on Yankees batting practice today, presented by Audi. Coming up, Ben Rice is cooking. We will spotlight him next on Yes and the Gotham Sports app.
Yankees batting practice today is presented by Audi, the official luxury vehicle of the New York Yankees. Visit your tri-state Audi dealer today.
When you were catching or playing first, and a Spanish-speaking player gets on base or is at the plate, do you unprompted just start speaking Spanish?
Yes, in those situations I'll do it. Definitely when I was playing first base, I had to take advantage of that.
Any good moments from this year, like a guy being surprised by your abilities?
Ellie De La Cruz, talking to him was fun. He had a line drive at me like the inning before, and I like jumped up and caught it, so I robbed him of a hit. And then when he got to first base, the next thing I think he walked or something, we started talking and started speaking Spanish with him. He was just very surprised because I'm very unassuming.
Yeah.
So to like kind of speak that Dominican Spanish with him was fun. Sí, claro, mucho. Calladita, eso es mi canción favorita. Ella es calladita. No voy a continuar. Eso es bueno.
How about that? It's been a very nice start for Ben Rice. He's batting .385 with 2 home runs through 5 games. His on-base percentage is over .400, and his OPS is over .900. He's also pounding the ball. 6 of the 8 balls that he's put in play had an exit velocity of 99 miles per hour or better. It is so good to have you back with us here on Yankees Batting Practice Today, presented by Audi. Ben Rice came to spring training ready to mash, and it very much impressed Aaron Boone and his staff. Rice got his first taste of the majors last year, including 1 game in July where he went deep. Not once, not twice, but thrice.
Drove deep to right field. There it goes. See ya. Second deck. A home run for Rice. See ya. A long home run for Rice. His second blast of the game. There it goes. What a day for Ben Rice. His 3rd home run. Another 3-run shot. My, oh my. What a day for the rookie. They want a curtain call. He doesn't know where to go. Show him the way. Wow. Chills.
It was an awesome year. I wasn't totally sure if I was going to debut or not. I knew it was a possibility. But to be able to do it at Yankee Stadium, get the first hit out of the way in the first game, have an amazing performance in the 3-homer game.
I wonder if he even dreams that big. 3 home runs in the big leagues. He just got called up a minute ago. What a great moment.
Ben can really hit, and he showed us a little bit of that last year. He had some ups and downs at the big league level, but he also showed Yankee fans about his power, his patience, and what could be with the bat.
Deep to right. See ya. A long home run for Ben Rice.
Biggest thing for me was just to try to slow the game down as much as I could, just do what was asked of me, and just go out there and compete.
3-0 pitch, grounded hard, scooped up, stepped on the bag by Rice at first, the throw to second in time. That's a double play.
First base was relatively unfamiliar to me. I came up as a catcher, so when I got to the big leagues, I was kind of learning the position as I went.
Line drive. Oh, what a play by Rice. Out number 2.
Popped up, over first, Rice into shallow right, able to make the catch.
I learned that, I can play that position at the big league level. The team trusted me to go over there and just kind of do my job. So I feel like I took away from it that I should be confident that they can plug me in anywhere they need.
Ben Rice is a major league caliber catcher. He was asked to do some different things last year out of need, but I really have a lot of confidence in his ability to stick behind the plate.
Me as a catcher, I think the biggest thing is that I'm just a competitor back there. I try to do everything I can to get the most out of my pitchers and help the team win. From a defensive standpoint, receiving is definitely one of my strengths. Blocking and throwing have been things that have continued to progress and improve each year that I've been here, and we work on them every day. But I'd say the thing that separates me the most is how I prepare and how I can try to get the most out of my pitching staff.
He's made some really impressive strides defensively. The receiving has come a long way. He's really improved himself as a blocker this offseason. But I think this guy's a total package. He's got a lot of upside offensively. He's really polished out his game defensively, and now it's just a waiting game. I think if and when this kid gets an opportunity, he's going to surprise a lot of people.
I think the biggest thing for me is just to show that I'm a big league caliber catcher. A lot of people don't know me as a catcher. They saw me come up to the big leagues as a first baseman, but I know deep down in me that I'm a catcher, and of course if they need me at first base, I'll go over there too, but wherever they put me, I'm going to give it my all, and I'm just going to do everything I can to show that I deserve a spot on this roster.
Drill to right field. See ya. Ben Rice into the second deck. 3-1 Yankees.
Certain guys in the lineup that are more important to get off to good starts, and I think Ben Rice is one of those guys.
Somebody in the second deck got a souvenir.
Ben Rice has really grown, like Austin Wells has really grown over the last few years behind the plate. He's going to get a great opportunity here, but we think has a really bright future in this league.
We're definitely young, but I would say just the fact that we all kind of came up through this system and with this organization gives us a little bit more experience in a way, just because we know how this organization runs. We know what they ask of us. We know what's important to our organization, and at the end of the day, it's just to win. So whether you do that with a young team, an old team, it doesn't really matter. It's all about just getting wins at the end of the day.
Anytime a player gets the opportunity to make his first start in the majors, it is memorable. Tonight, after more than 800 combined games between the minor leagues, winter leagues, and independent baseball, J.C. Escarra arrives at that moment. In our Toyota quote of the day, Aaron Boone was asked what kind of nerves he's expecting from his catcher.
Tough to say. I mean, gosh, he's been through so much in his career that, he strikes me as someone that's that really loves playing this game and loves all that goes into it. So I think it's going to be more of that. I'm sure there'll be some nerves and excitement and everything, but I'm excited to get him in there and look excited. I think he's going to play a big role for us.
What does Carrasco need to do to successfully navigate through that lineup that we know can do damage?
Yeah, I mean it's command of both the secondary, the split change and the slider, which has been so good for him. I feel like all spring, as well as the movement on his sinker. He's got to locate. He's got to command it, and he's done that really. The entire spring, and if he does that, he'll give himself a good opportunity. Obviously, it's an outstanding offense he's going up against, but execution always is the key.
Nate.
You mentioned, JC obviously making his first start tonight, but he's got a lot of experience with different teams and different clubhouses. What have you liked just about what he's brought to your clubhouse so far this year?
Yeah. So I'm big on our team, I want you to give energy to the room, right? And that looks a lot of different ways. Doesn't mean you're loud, it can be, but he brings an energy to the field with him every day. You can tell his passion and love for the game, which I really appreciate. I appreciate when whatever walk of life it is, when you love what you're doing, I feel like that permeates the room a little bit. He has that. Also, I think, for not having any major league experience yet, he's got a lot of experience, and he's got some presence to him. He's got some confidence to what he's doing. So, and then, and he can really swing the bat too. So I'm excited for him to get in there. I think he'll handle it well. But he brings a confidence and an energy to the field with him every day.
It has been an up and down first two games of the series for the Yankees. The good is all the homers. They've got 4, and 5 of their 7 runs have come via the long ball. They're also 1 for 12 with runners in scoring position and have left 8 men on base. They'll try to prevent the D-backs from their first sweep of at least 3 games against them. Let us take a break again here on Yankees Batting Practice Today, presented by Audi. Still ahead, we'll check out some storylines from around the majors. Stay with us.
Embrace this man, embrace this team. An 8-0 start for the defending champs. Unprecedented.
What a finish in L.A. The Dodgers moved to 8-0. That is the best start ever by a defending World Series champion. The Braves, meanwhile, are 0-7. They are the last winless team in the majors. Atlanta's team batting average, just 151. And it's been a struggle on offense for the Astros as well. Coming into today, they had scored just 12 runs in 6 games. That's the fewest in the American League. We thank you for staying with us on Yankees Batting Practice Today, presented by Audi. As usual, the American League East promises to be a battle all year. Right now, the Toronto Blue Jays are in the top spot and riding a 4-game win streak. Tampa Bay and the Yankees, they're on their heels. And earlier today, the Red Sox and the Orioles faced off. Let's get you to the highlights. Pick it up top of the first. 1 on. Alex Bregman at the plate. Drives the ball deep into left, and it is gone. A 2-run homer. The Red Sox strike first. Top of the second with 1 on. Christian Campbell drives it deep. And this, too, is unplayable. The Red Sox have a 4-1 lead. Now in the bottom of the 4th with 2 out and 1 runner on, Ramon Urias. A single to center field. 1 run comes in. two-run game. 5-3, Orioles trail. Top of the 7th, one on, Tristan Casas. It's a deep fly ball, and it finds the seats. A two-run blast of his own, making it 7-3 for the Red Sox to about seal it. They go on to win it 8-4. The Red Sox do win, and Bregman finishes 3 for 5 with 2 doubles and the homer. Rafael Devers connected for his 3rd hit after that 0 for 21 start. On the other side, Baltimore has scored 29 runs in its 3 wins, but just 7 runs in their 4 losses. Hot and cold start for them. How about the Rockies and the Phillies? Bottom 5, 1 out, runner on 3rd. Bryce Harper at the dish, ripping the ball down the first base line. 1 run comes in. Philly lead 1-0. Skipping ahead to the bottom of the 7th, Kyle Schwarber, you know what he's going to do. Boom. This is a monster solo home run. His 4th, Philly now up 2-0. Now, the top of the 9th with 2 on, Sean Bouchard grounds the ball to 3rd base. It gets past the diving Alec Bohm. 1 run is in. Rockies down 2. A few batters later, the bases are loaded. 2-2 count to Brendan Doyle. Jose Alvarado gets him swinging on the high cutter. That's the ball game. The Phillies have won 5 of 6 to start the season, and Kyle Schwarber has 4 home runs. The Rockies, meanwhile, have lost 5 of the first 6, and thanks to the Dodgers' impressive start, they're already 6 games out of first place. They've scored just 11 runs. That is the fewest in all of baseball. There are only 2 other games on the schedule, and we mentioned the Astros' offensive struggles. They got 5 runs on the board today, and they're leading the Twins. Minnesota, as well as every single team in the American League Central, is off to a 2-4 start. Houston is also 2-4, and the Brewers will be looking to make it 3 wins in a row when they host the Reds. One last break here on Yankees Batting Practice Today, presented by Audi. We will be back to wrap things up as the Yankees finish up the first homestand of the season. Stay with us on Yes and the Gotham Sports app. We are back, and J.C. Escara is getting in some swings ahead of his first major league start. He's 29 years old, from Hialeah, Florida, and joined the Yankees organization on a minor league deal prior to the 2024 season. He then shined in AAA, posting an OPS over 900. The journey continues tonight. On to tonight's injury report, brought to you by Montefiore Einstein, the official hospital of the New York Yankees. DJ LeMahieu took batting practice on the field, and he is a week away from taking live at bats. Clark Schmidt will make his first official rehab start for AA Somerset in Hartford on Saturday. And Ian Hamilton is expected to return Monday when the Yankees are in Detroit. Once upon a time, Jazz Chisholm Jr. was a prospect in the D-backs organization, spending 4 seasons in their minor leagues before they traded him to the Miami Marlins for Zach Gallen. In the current day, he has found a home in pinstripes. Jazz has had the home run swing working early. He already has 3 on the season, and the fastest he's ever reached 4 homers was back in 2022 when he did it in the Marlins' 14th game. He's found the short porch to his liking this year, and he's enjoyed the New York spotlight overall. He already has as many multi-home run games with the Yankees as he had in his entire Marlins tenure. He has a unique combination of power and speed, and he's still waiting on his first stolen base of the season. It'll be the 100th of his career. Here are the numbers so far. Jazz is batting .300 with 3 home runs and 6 runs batted in. He's getting on base at a .364 clip, and thanks to those long balls, he is slugging .750. Anthony Volpe's 3-run homer in the 9th inning last night was already his 4th of the season. Volpe is tied with Aaron Judge for the team lead. It added to the Yankees' record start with regard to the long ball over these first 5 games. Their next home run will be their 20th. Last year, they didn't hit that number until game 19. Some other things to watch for. Eugenio Suarez has had success against Carlos Carrasco in his career. And remember, all 5 of his hits this year are home runs. For the Yankees, the captain, number 99, is sitting on 499 extra base hits. And tonight marks career game number 999 for him. And we mentioned Volpe's start. All 4 of his hits this season have cleared the fence. On to the upcoming schedule. It is the first road trip of the season for the Yankees. The first stop is in Pittsburgh with coverage of Friday afternoon's game beginning at 3:30 here on Yes. After 3 games there, it's Detroit for 3 against the Tigers. Then the Bombers are back in the Bronx next Friday for their National League opponent, the San Francisco Giants. That does it for this edition of Yankees Batting Practice Today, presented by Audi. Our next BPTV comes your way Saturday at 3 p.m. Right now, our game day coverage rolls on. It is the final game of a 3-game set versus the visiting D-backs in the Bronx. It's that time. Time to hand off to the best pregame in the business. It's next on Yes on the Gotham Sports app.
It is the finale to this power-packed season-opening homestand in the Bronx as the New York Yankees wrap things up with the Arizona Diamondbacks on a Thursday night at the stadium. And we hope you're having a great night. Welcome to the FanDuel Yankees pregame. Bob Lorenz and Jack Curry with you. Finale coming up tonight. Yanks trying to salvage a win. And as we get your Hyundai opening comment, Jack, they're doing it. Trying to get some veteran savvy on the mound with Carlos Carrasco.
Yeah, when the Yankees signed Carrasco to a minor league deal about 2 months ago, it was considered a minor move. It was an attempt to give a pitcher who has struggled across the last 2 seasons an opportunity and see what happens. The Yankees never thought that in Game 6 of the season they would be turning to Carrasco and saying, rescue me. But that's where the Yankees are tonight. They've lost 2 games in a row. The offense has struggled with 30 strikeouts across the last 2 games. So Carrasco can stabilize things on the pitching side, and then the Yankees need their offense to return against Merrill Kelly tonight.
All right, speaking of the offense, let's find out what's going on at the stadium. Meredith Morakovich standing by with the Clubhouse Report, brought to you by your local Ford stores. And Meredith, there are some lineup changes tonight. Tell us about that.
Bob, the Yankees lineup does look a little bit different. Paul Goldschmidt and Austin Wells both have the evening off. When I asked Aaron Boone why he thought tonight was a good night to give Goldschmidt off, he simply said he is likely going to play all 3 in Pittsburgh with the late night and an early game tomorrow. He thought with Merrill Kelly on the mound, this would be a good opportunity. So with no Goldschmidt in the lineup, it'll be Ben Rice getting the start at first base and leading off. When I asked him why he thought Ben Rice was the right guy for the leadoff spot, he just smiled at me and said he rakes. As far as Austin Wells is concerned, he is available off the bench, but it'll be JC Escarra making his first career major league start. You have to imagine it is such a big moment for this guy. We all know his story at this point. It has been well documented. He was almost out of baseball. He was substitute teaching, driving Uber just to make ends meet. This spring, he played himself onto the roster. Aaron Boone gave him the news in an emotional talk in his office, telling him that he had made the opening day roster. He did get in a few games. This is going to be his first start. And guys, you can't help but wonder here whether or not there will be some nerves for Escarra when he gets out there behind the plate.
Gosh, he's been through so much in his career that, he strikes me as someone that's that really loves playing this game and loves all that goes into it. So I think it's going to be more of that. I'm sure there'll be some nerves and excitement and everything, but I'm excited to get him in there and look excited. I think he's going to play a big role for us.
You mentioned, JC obviously making his first start tonight, but he's got a lot of experience with different teams and different clubhouses. What have you liked just about what he's brought to your clubhouse so far this year?
Yeah, so I'm big on our team, I want you to give energy to the room, right? And that looks a lot of different ways. Doesn't mean you're loud, it can be, but he brings an energy to the field with him every day. You can tell his passion and love for the game, which I really appreciate. I appreciate when whatever walk of life it is, when you love what you're doing, I feel like that permeates the room a little bit. He has that. Also, I think, for not having any major league experience yet, he's got a lot of experience and he's got some presence to him. He's got some confidence to what he's doing. So, and then, and he can really swing the bat too. So I'm excited for him to get in there. I think he'll handle it well. But he brings a confidence and an energy to the field with him every day.
And guys, it's funny, when I spoke to Escara for a BP interview, I asked him what he thought it would be like when he finally sees his name penciled in that starting lineup. He just looked at me and said, I will be ready. I have been ready. I cannot wait for the moment. And there he is in the cage getting ready to help Carlos Carrasco warm up. He is going to get the ball, as Jack noted. He did make a relief appearance for the Yankees already this season. That was on Saturday. He allowed 3 earned runs through 2 innings of work. And when you look at Carrasco, according to Aaron Boone, we know that this Diamondbacks offense can be very, very tough. Boone said it's all about his split change and his slider. They are going to be key tonight. In reality, he just needs to find a way to locate and to execute. There is one note when it comes to the roster. As we know, Devin Williams has been on the paternity list. Aaron Boone saying earlier today that he expects Williams will be back with the team in Pittsburgh tomorrow, so he will be an option out of the bullpen should the Yankees need a closer. It's now time for the Morgan & Morgan injury report, and there are a few guys with some updates, starting with DJ LeMahieu. Ever since the Yankees came north, he's been out doing agility work, doing some early work. Aaron Boone said that he's about a week away from taking live at-bats, but once he finally starts a rehab assignment, it is going to be a long road because he essentially needs to go through an entire spring training, get a lot of at-bats, and certainly get time in the field. Clark Schmidt will pitch for the Somerset Patriots in Hartford on Saturday. He'll likely get one more outing after that, and then the hope is that he rejoins that Yankees rotation. And Aiden Hamilton threw for the Rail Riders yesterday. All went well there. He'll likely get one more appearance, and then the team expects him to rejoin the roster when they head to Detroit after the Pittsburgh series. So, guys, really, you look at some of those moves that are going to need to be made with Devin Williams, Ian Hamilton, and eventually Clark Schmidt. Some tough roster decisions upcoming for the Yankees.
Yeah, no doubt about that. All right, Meredith, have a great night, and we'll see you in just a bit with Michael and Paul. Now, all season long here on Yes, we want to invite you viewers to show us the different ways you support the Bronx Bombers. Use the QR code on screen with the hashtag Toyota Pinstripe Pride and post pictures to social media that reflect your love for the Yankees. We might spotlight you in a future game. Pinstripe Pride is brought to you by Toyota, the official hybrid vehicles of the Yankees. Well, Aaron Boone has shuffled his lineup for tonight. Meredith talked about that. Ben Rice batting leadoff coming up next on the FanDuel Yankees pregame. We'll take a look at the bats, including Jason Dominguez and the Homer-happy Anthony Volpe. Stick around on Yes and the Gotham Sports app.
The Yankees pregame show on Yes is presented by FanDuel. New FanDuel customers can get $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. The Yankees pregame show on Yes is brought to you in part by your local Hyundai dealers. There's never been a better time to test drive that Hyundai you've always wanted. Visit HyundaiUSA.com today.
It's time for the pregame odds segments presented by FanDuel. It's the final game of the season-opening homestand in the Bronx, with the Yankees looking to swipe a game from the D-backs. For a same-game parlay, let's go with Cody Bellinger to record 2+ total bases, Carlos Carrasco to go over 3.5 strikeouts, and J.C. Escara to get his first career hit in the majors. That would hit a +605. Right now, FanDuel customers can get $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins.
Let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Yankees, brought to you courtesy of Toyota. Meredith mentioned some changes. Ben Rice in that leadoff spot. We'll talk about that in a minute. Cody Bellinger in his career off Merrill Kelly, couple doubles, couple homers, and 26 at-bats. Aaron Judge doing the DHing tonight. He's 7 of 19 so far this season. And Anthony Volpe hit his 4th homer in the 9th inning last night. So no Goldschmidt, no Wells. You got Ben Rice in the leadoff spot. What do you think about that move?
Hey, let's start with Goldschmidt. He's 37 years old, but he's been an Iron Man in his career, Bob. Just look at his last 4 seasons. He averaged 154 games played per season. The Yankees early in the year are giving him a break. You heard Meredith say that he's likely to play all 3 in Pittsburgh, so tonight is a night where he's at least not starting the game. You don't see Goldschmidt, you don't see Wells. We become so accustomed to seeing them being part of the lineup. lineup. Obviously, Goldschmidt at the top of the lineup. Wells gets a break. I still think that he is going to be an Ironman for the Yankees this year as well. Boone talked about wanting to play him about 130 games. And Rice in the leadoff spot is intriguing to me, Bob. I've been very impressed with his at-bats so far this year. That home run that he hit off Puck a couple of nights ago, I think left on left, that's something that's going to help him all year long.
Rice was a big story, beefed up in the offseason. It's paid off in terms of muscle, the way he strikes the ball. Could you make the same case about Anthony Volpe? 4 homers so far. Those were his only 4 hits, but you can tell he's hitting the ball harder.
Yeah, he's got the 4 homers. There have also been some outs mixed in there that have been scorched. But what he's also doing, Bob, is he's simply swinging the bat harder. Now, that might not look like much of a difference, 2 miles harder, but it is, because this is the Volpe that we saw in the postseason, going up there and simply trying to attack the ball with more force. It has worked for him. I think this is the year where Volpe is hoping that he can put it all together. There have been flashes of brilliance, obviously. He's won a Gold Glove. He's been terrific on the bases. The Yankees want to see that consistency. Last year, he had a 21-game hitting streak. He also had a 34-game on-base streak. So there were some peaks and valleys when you look at his final stats. The Yankees would love to see consistency across the board offensively.
And those peaks and valleys are because pitchers kind of figured him out, figured out his holes. Going into season 3, a full season for him, Jack, is it more like, hey, there's a confidence in knowing I know these guys a lot better now, too?
I think there is. I think you do something for 2 full years and you learn some lessons about what the opponents are trying to do to you. Paul O'Neill talked about the home run that he hit last night, and you could just see Volpe understanding the importance of going the other way with it, waiting a little bit, recognizing what the pitch was, and then being smart enough to go the other way with it. He's a staple for the Yankees at that position. They have a lot of confidence in his abilities at the plate.
Yeah, Boone's talked a lot about having to rely on the younger guys really coming through. How does Jason Dominguez right now fit into that?
I think Dominguez, when you look at his 2025 season, Bob, I said this way back in spring training, he just needs to play. He just needs to get the reps. The speed, the power, the athleticism, all of that is there. The Yankees have removed him for defense during this homestand late in some games. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I'm not sure that's something that they're going to do all season long, but right now it's what they are doing. I think you see with Jason Dominguez, it's about getting out there and playing as much as you can. You mentioned Volpe, or we talked about Volpe earlier. During his rookie year, the Yankees never publicized this, but Volpe knew that if he had a struggle, he wasn't immediately being sent down to AAA. I think that needs to be the philosophy with Dominguez as well. Allow him to work through whatever potential obstacles or hiccups he runs into.
All right, let's move on to the guy they're facing tonight. Zach Allen pitched to Butte last night. There's no doubt about that. It's Merrill Kelly tonight. He's a guy who can mix in about 6 pitches on you.
Yeah, and the changeup is the pitch that I think is going to stand out the most. Since the 2023 season, batters hit about 150 against his changeup. So the Yankees are going to be aware of that pitch. And he's also someone, Bob, who gets batters to chase. Top 6 in the major league since 23 on getting batters to chase. So like Gallen last night, more of a technician than somebody who's going to come in there and just overpower you. And it really is incumbent upon the Yankee offense to get some damage early. Yeah. We talked so much about those home runs the first 3 games of the season, and it was awesome for the Yankees, and there was so much talk about the torpedo bats. Well, the torpedoes have been missing across these last 2 games. A lot of swing and miss against 2 really good pitchers and a good bullpen. I get it, in Burns, Gallen, and the D-backs bullpen, but 30 strikeouts across 70 plate appearances. The Yankees got to put the ball in play more.
Yeah, it's always a challenge to play from behind, no doubt. Any team will tell you that. Well, he got a tune-up out of the bullpen a few days ago, but tonight Carlos Carrasco makes his first start in pinstripes. We will look at what to expect as the veteran righty chases another signature moment. That's coming up next.
The Yankees pregame show on Yes is brought to you in part by your local Tri-State Genesis retailers. Learn more at genesis.com. The Yankees pregame show on Yes is brought to you in part by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com.
Tonight on New York 55 and the Gotham Sports app, it's Nick Claxton and the Brooklyn Nets hosting Anthony Edwards and the Minnesota Timberwolves at Barclays Center. That's coming up at 7:30 on New York 55 and the Gotham Sports app. Let's take a look at the Diamondbacks lineup that Carlos Carrasco will face tonight, brought to you courtesy of Toyota. Geraldo Perdomo batting second, hitting .350 on the season, 7 for 20 in the first 6 games. Lourdes Gurriel Jr., career against the Yankees, 9 homers, 28 runs batted in. And against Carlos Carrasco, Eugenio Suarez, 4 of 17 with 7 strikeouts, though he and Josh Naylor have homered off of it. Now, StatCast 3D, powered by Google Cloud, takes a look at the 2024 pitch breakdown for Carrasco. He went to the four-seamer more than a quarter of the time. And then the slider, changeup, and sinker followed. Opponents, however, hit that four-seamer jack at a .337 clip. Did you see it as much in the spring, or do you think he's kind of gotten away from that?
I think he knew that he had to get away from that. Let's get the ugly numbers out there first, Bob. Since the beginning of the 23 season, Carrasco an ERA of over 6, the highest among any pitcher who threw more than 150 innings. But then in spring training, we saw more sinkers, we saw the split change, we saw the slider, and it was a pitcher who had swing and miss stuff. 16 innings pitched, 15 strikeouts. I had the opportunity to interview him a couple of times, and I said, the stuff you have right now, where would you place it in your career? He said, I'm back to 4 or 5 years ago. I feel my stuff is as good as it was then. Well, you said that in spring training. Now you have to go out and prove it. So it's incumbent upon Carrasco to show the Yankees that that spring fling wasn't just a fling, that that's who he is right now.
And it's pretty cool battery if you think about it. Carrasco, the veteran, savvy, 39 years old, trying to kind of rebuild his brand, going to get or pitching with J.C. Escarra, 29-year-old rookie, getting that start tonight.
I had Aaron Boone on my podcast, Yankee News and Views, before the season began, and we talked about what I felt were the 2 best human interest stories in Yankees camp, and it was Carrasco and Escarra because of what you just talked about. Carrasco wasn't sure he'd ever throw in a major league game again. Now he's making his first start for the Yankees tonight, and Escarra at 29 years old getting your first major league start. And Meredith detailed it, Uber driver, substitute teacher, released by the Orioles in 22, but he fought his way back. He persevered, he persisted, and he is a guy who walks around the clubhouse with a smile on his face, rightfully so.
And really a chance to make a mark, because we're at Game 6. You've already got Austin Wells. He's, you know, sitting out a little bit. He's got to take a break once in a while. It's a chance for Escarra to do some damage.
He can hit. That's the thing about Escarra. At every level, he's been a hitter, and now the catching has caught up. You look at what he put up for the Yankees in terms of defensive metrics on the minor league level last season. He was at a very high level of catching, so the Yankees love both sides of what he can do. He won the Dominican batting title in the winter leagues last season. He's been coached by Yadi Molina, and Bob, I asked him, what was the one thing you took away from being coached by that great catcher? He said presence. He said you have to have a presence when you're behind the plate trying to guide your pitchers through a game.
Got to take one last break on the FanDuel Yankees pregame. We're going to wrap things up with some keys to the game, so stick around on Yes and the Gotham Sports app.
The Yankees pregame show on Yes is brought to you in part by Cadillac. Spring is the season for new beginnings, and it's the best time to get behind the wheel of a sophisticated new Cadillac SUV. Visit your Tri-State Cadillac dealer today.
Hey Yankees fans, I'm News 12 meteorologist Hope Aselko with your game day forecast, and the Yankees are right at home here in the Bronx. Here's how it's looking at first pitch. A cloudy sky, it's mild, temperatures in the 60s. By the 7th inning, the winds start picking up, and you got a mild breeze by the end of the game. You will need that light coat. We're even tracking some rain overnight. So what's your moodcast? How does this weather make you feel? Let us know at News 12 The Bronx. Enjoy the game. Back to you.
Hope, thank you for that. Yankees trying to get the offense going, and as you said, it would benefit them getting it going early tonight. Let's get your key to the game.
We're going right to the top of the lineup, Bob. The key to the game for me is more from the top 4. The last 2 games against the Diamondbacks, the Yankees' top 4 hitters in the lineup, 3 for 31. So not getting anything going with your best hitters. Goldschmidt is out of the lineup tonight. We've already said it's Rice, but you've still got Bellinger, Judge, Chisholm. Those are the hitters that the Yankees rely on, so they will try and get things started against Kelly.
What is realistic for Carlos Carrasco tonight? Again, pitched well in the spring, had a relief appearance of a couple innings against Milwaukee. I mean, is it just 5 and then bullpen? Is it maybe stretch him into the 6th?
I think the Yankees would be elated if Carrasco had a lead after 5 innings, and we'll see what his pitch count looks like. I talked about how he flashed a lot of swing and miss stuff in spring training. This is an imposing Diamondbacks lineup. The Diamondbacks led the major leagues in runs scored last season. I think it's going to take a lot of that swing and miss stuff, but a lot of savvy from Carrasco to get through 5. He gets through 5, Bob. The Yankees have a rested bullpen to try and pick up those final 12 outs.
Let's take a look at the bullpen budget. And by the way, the name at the top jumps out at you. With Devin Williams out until tomorrow when he'll rejoin the team after being on the paternity list, he hasn't pitched since the season opener.
Last night, I said that you might use Luke Weaver regardless of the situation in the game. That didn't end up happening because Gomez gave him those 3 scoreless innings. But I would say the same thing again tonight. You'd like to see Luke Weaver in the game, but the Yankees want to see him in the game where it matters, closing it out in the 9th inning. And based on the fact that it was Rodon and Gomez, the only 2 pitchers who threw last night, Bob, Aaron Boone has everyone at his disposal, and it's early in the season, not a must-win game or anything like that, but before you go on the road after that really strong 3-0 start, Yankees would love to salvage the final game of this series. I envision Boone being aggressive with that bullpen and going to matchups when he sees fit.
And depending which way the game breaks early on in terms of scoring, probably could see a Wells pinch hitting or a Goldschmidt coming into this game, right?
That's why when we spoke earlier, I said Goldschmidt's not starting this game. Wells is not starting this game, but you're right, Bob. Even though Escara and Wells, for instance, are both lefty hitters, there's a big moment late in the game. You want Wells taking that at-bat.
Boone likes to fire those bullets late in the game when he's got them. That's going to do it for us. We thank you for joining us. After a break, it's Michael K. Paul O'Neill with a call, Meredith reporting, and Jack and I will see you on the postgame series finale. Yankees against the Diamondbacks next on Yes in the Gotham Sports app.
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching Yes.
Nicer weather this evening than last night, and a crowd filing into Yankee Stadium where it is time for baseball. As the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. It's the New York Yankees against the Arizona Diamondbacks in the final game of a 3-game set from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. Season start presented by PNC Bank. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Yankees Baseball. Along with Paul O'Neill, I'm Michael Kay. The Yankees have lost the first 2 games of the series, so they'll try to salvage the final game, Game 3 tonight. And we'll take a look at the pitching matchup, the Home Depot getting it done pitching matchup. Merrill Kelly will get the start for the Diamondbacks in his first start of the year. He pitched well. Carlos Carrasco pitched in relief on Saturday. You see his numbers making his first Yankee start. Paul, this guy has been around.
Well, you talked about a veteran. Well, he certainly is. I mean, this is his 16th season. He's 38 years old. All the way back in 2017, he won 18 games and led the American League. So he had a good spring training. With all the injuries, he made this team on what he did during the spring.
It's going to be an interesting battery for the Yankees because Carlos Carrasco is going to be throwing to J.C. Escara, his first big league start. What a journey. Meredith Marakovitz has more when we return.
Got better as a catcher, you rake, and you came in here and showed it. But as you know, we have a lot of catching depth, as you know. So that's what makes this hard. You're going to big leagues.
Let's go.
Congratulations.
The major leagues.
Hey everyone, I'm Meredith Marakovitz. That was the moment that J.C. Escara found out he was going to be a big leaguer. Tonight, he is in the starting lineup for the very first time. From substitute teacher and Uber driver to New York Yankee, what a journey it has been.
You know, I want my story to get out there. I want to be inspiration to you know, all the kids and everyone out there chasing their dreams. So a part of me, you know, wants that, and, you know, it's happening. It's been truly special. Just so much attention, so much support from, you know, all the fans, everyone out there. You know, I'm just trying to stay focused, not let everything around baseball overwhelm me. Just trying to stay focused, and, you know, whenever my name's called, is, you know, give the best of me and help the team win.
Aaron Boone said Escara may not have a lot of major league experience, but his love and passion for the game is apparent. He has a lot of life experience and said he's somebody that just has a presence about him. There's an energy when he walks in the room. Escara is going to bat 8th. Austin Wells available off the bench. Paul Goldschmidt has the evening off, and Cookie Carrasco is going to get his first start as a New York Yankee. Carrasco gets the ball next, right here on Yes.
Well, from being released by the Baltimore Orioles to being an Uber driver, a substitute teacher, independent baseball, and now he's going behind the plate at Yankee Stadium for his first big league start. What a story it is for J.C. Escara, and he is warming up Carlos Carrasco for the start of this game. Let's take a look at the Arizona Diamondbacks starting lineup. Corbin Carroll in right, Geraldo Perdomo, the shortstop, Pavin Smith at first, cleaning up the DH Josh Naylor. Left fielder Lourdes Gurriel Jr. will bat 5th. Batting 6th, playing third base, Eugenio Suarez. Alec Thomas in center. Garrett Hampson, the second baseman, will bat 8th. And batting 9th and catching, it's Jose Herrera. And there's Carrasco, what he did last year with the Guardians. 21 starts, 3-10, 5.64. The numbers are not that great. This year he's pitched 2 innings in relief for the Yankees. Let's check out the Nissan pitcher scouting report, Paul.
Well, the numbers in spring training were really good, and that's how he earned his spot. 1.69 ERA in the 5 games, and obviously with all the injuries, they needed his help. Go ahead, Michael. I can't do this.
Carroll's ready. Carrasco's ready, and let's do it.
Now I can finish.
There you go.
The game's official, all right? Sweet 16, yeah, it's not the NCAA, but believe it or not, this is his 16th Major League season. And boy, is he easy to root for, although he is 5 years away from his best year in his Major League career.
You mentioned he's been around a long time, 16th year, but when he came out and pitched in relief on Saturday, he said he was really, really nervous.
Yeah, it'll probably help him, man. I just want to finish up on that. Easy to root for. I mean, he's a cancer survivor. He's won the Roberto Clemente Award back in 2019. Just a likable guy that's had a really long career.
Bleacher creatures doing their thing in the background.
It's funny, Michael, you said he was actually nervous. This is his 278th start. But he's with the New York Yankees now, and that's what happens, right?
As they say, the pinstripes sometimes are heavy. As he strikes out Corbin Carroll to start the first inning. Take a look at the Yankee defense behind Carrasco. Dominguez, Grisham, and Bellinger left to right. In the infield, Cabrera, Volpe, Chisholm, and Ben Rice getting the start at first. Aaron Judge is playing. He's the DH. We told you about J.C. Escara behind the plate catching Carrasco. Here's Perdomo. Now, Carrasco's nickname is Cookie. So it has to be something really deep and clever, you would think. Well, when he was with Cleveland, his teammate, Chris Perez, in 2011, actually saw Carrasco sitting at the table in the food room eating a cookie, and therein the nickname was born. Pretty deep.
I'm just calling you pizza then. Every time I look over there, you got a slice in your hand, right?
I like it.
There's only one Cookie in my mind, though. That's Stevie Donahue.
That's right.
We called him Cookie. I don't know. Stevie, if you're listening, give me I don't even know how it started. I guarantee he wasn't just sitting there eating a cookie. Somebody called him Cookie, but
it might be as simple as that.
Who knows?
2-1 on Perdomo. So Carrasco signed with the Yankees a minor league deal on February 3rd, and at the time you wondered, well, why are they doing that? Well, you're always looking for pitching depth, but the onslaught of injuries to the rotation, all of a sudden he's your 5th starter.
Yeah, he signed all the way back in 2003 with Philadelphia and never made it to the major leagues with them. He was part of the Cliff Lee trade. But boy, he was solid for the Guardians. Then he went to the Mets, struggled, back to the Guardians. Knows how to pitch. I think it's a great
thing by Aaron Boone. You've got a veteran pitcher out there where J.C. Escarra can just kind of let him call his own game. I mean, he's been around long enough to figure it out.
You know, Carrasco went to the Mets along with Francisco Lindor. That was in that deal, the blockbuster in January of 2021.
You see kind of a break for Carrasco tonight. Marte out of the lineup tonight. This was a day off, and you know he's a big part of their offense.
Popped up, Cabrera in foul territory, giving it a run, and he makes the play. Pretty play by Oswaldo Cabrera, covering a lot of ground.
I was going to say, Michael, you really can't tell by watching television, but you know he went a long way to get to this ball, and if you take a bad route, you're not going to get there. A really, really good play by Cabrera.
There's Pavin Smith. Home plate umpire is Rob Drake, and he is considered very pitcher friendly. More outside strikes, more low strikes on righty batters, and Rob in his 27th season. So 0-2.
Rob and I overlapped.
Yeah, absolutely. Some Paul O'Neill magic he experienced. Game time weather presented by Bigelow, the official hot tea of the Yankees. 71 degrees. Feels like 68. There's a 90% chance of rain. Humidity 85%. The wind is blowing out to left. What a difference a night makes.
Oh. It's really amazing because I woke up today. It's freezing. It was still cold, and as the day went on, warmer, and I think it's warmer now than it was at high noon today.
It's amazing. It was so cold here last night, but a beautiful evening in the Bronx. Just missed. Good changeup. Diamondbacks 4-2 on the season. They split a 4-game set with the Cubs, and they've taken the first 2 of this series. The Yankees are 3-2. Well, Paul, it's time for the keys to the game, brought to you by your local Kia dealers.
Well, first course, it's Rice. He's a leadoff hitter playing first base, and times have changed. I mean, the first series, the Yankees on fire offensively. Last 2 nights, 30 strikeouts. So they got to figure that one out, and a happy flight. I mean, you salvage this game tonight. You win. You have a 4-2 homestand before you go on the road. Nothing like it. Heading to Pittsburgh and Detroit.
Strike 3. Strong inning for Carlos Carrasco. Diamondbacks go down in order, and the Yankees are coming to bat. The Yankees have a new leadoff hitter tonight. That's Ben Rice. He's getting ready to face Merrill Kelly. So Ben Rice at first leads off. Cody Bellinger in right. Aaron Judge, the DH. Cleaning up the second baseman, Jazz Chisholm Jr. Jason Dominguez in left field will bat 5th. Batting 6th, the power-hitting shortstop with 4 home runs, Anthony Volpe. Trent Grisham in center field. J.C. Escarra will catch. Oswaldo Cabrera plays third base. He's going to bat 9th. And they're going to face Merrill Kelly. Last season, injured, so he pitched just 13 times, 5-1, 4.03. Let's check out the Nissan pitcher scouting report.
Well, he's trying to bounce back from that injury, Michael. He was really good in 2022 and 23, but last year, as you said, with the injury, he had a shoulder strain that kept him out for 4 months. Changeup, yeah, his changeup is the pitch that really is impressive. Hitters since 2023 only hit 156 against it. A good trio. He's had 3 starts against the Yankees, 2 runs or fewer in all of them.
Ben Rice swings at the first pitch. Hits it to center field. Backing up is Thomas. Still going back. And it's going to be over his head and bounce into Monument Park. It's a double for Rice.
The ball's hit fairly good, just dead center field, but it is twilight. And you could tell this ball was lost for just an instant as he goes back. Thomas, you see, lost it, and then all of a sudden you recover, and you just can't catch up. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, I got it. Oh, it's too far. I'm not going to get it. Good break for the Yankees.
And he's a good defensive center fielder, too. So Rice with a double. Now his average in the young season, 429. There's Cody Bellinger. Yankees hoping to make a little more contact than they have been the last 2 days. 14 strikeouts Tuesday, 15 strikeouts last night. And the top 4 batters in the last 2 games, 3 for 31 with an 0.97 slug. 2-1.
Last key to Murrow, I said a good trio. He's had 3 good starts against the Yankees, but if you put it together, if he can bounce back to where he was, it's a pretty good trio that the Diamondbacks have with Burns and Gallen, who really shut the Yankees down Game 1 and Game 2 of the series.
Well, Paul told you about the struggles that Kelly had last year with the teres major strain in the right shoulder. But despite that, the Diamondbacks still picked up a $7 million team option for this season. And why not? To get a pitcher of that level for just $7 million, it just doesn't happen anymore. He'll be a free agent at the end of the season. He's 36 years old.
Michael, you know, I throw my notes into the trash can, and Audrey rebounds for me. I just tried a hook shot. I didn't even hit the wall. It wasn't even close.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's hard to rebound.
My skills they're not good. It was an alley-oop, Audrey. You were supposed to catch it in the air.
The payoff way inside, and Bellinger walks. Here's the Diamondbacks defense tonight. Gurriel Jr. in left. Thomas you saw in center. Corbin Carroll's over in right. Infield Suarez, Perdomo, Hampson, and Smith third to first. Herrera behind the plate. Josh Naylor, the DH, and Kelly's on the mound. Yankees have first and second. Nobody out. And here's Aaron Judge.
Well, an ideal situation for Aaron Judge. Men on first and second. As a pitcher, you know, early in the game, nobody out. Really nothing to do other than just try to make good pitches and hope to keep him in the ballpark.
499 career extra base hits for Judge. And for Judge, this is his 999th career game.
That's really amazing when you add it up, because we've been calling games together, and, you know, we talked about it the other day, 10 years in the league, including the year that he broke in. I mean, time flies, right?
Mm-hmm. Driven out to right center field and deep. There it goes. See ya. His 500th extra base hit. His 5th home run of the year. And a 3-0 Yankee lead.
And Cody Bellinger get on, you really can't pitch around the big fella, and that's what happens. I mean, what a perfect swing. Hit the ball the other way. Everybody in the ballpark knew where it was going. The funny thing was, I was watching Ben Rice, like, he took off like he had to score on a single. I'm like, but you know who just hit that ball?
Chisholm takes outside. 5 homers and 14 ribbies for Judge. And you saw the graphic, 3rd fastest in Yankee history to get to 500 extra base hits. 1 game shy of his 1,000th game, and here's how it happened.
Ball away. I mean, he is so strong. The right center field is so reachable. Just a line drive into the bullpen.
And a push bunt. They have the shift on. Let's take a look at Rice's dart to third.
Hey, you got to know who hits this ball. You going to tag up? Or are you going to tag up? The fan going to throw you out? Wow, he sprint. All right, I forgot Aaron Judge hit it. Even in slow motion, that looks good, doesn't it?
Grounded second base. Hampson gets the hustling Chisholm for the first out. Boy, you like to see that.
Again, a four-seam fastball just on the outside corner. But just, I mean, Aaron Judge is so big that he has no problem reaching the outside corner. And in Yankee Stadium, no need to pull it or anywhere for him. I mean, he could hit any part of the ballpark.
Dominguez, a single through the left side. So Kelly, early struggles.
Again, every time you see him put a good swing on a ball and get a base hit and something positive, it's just going to help him. You've got to build him up. You know, he came up, he took off, but he's had injuries and he struggled. This is his really big chance of playing every day. And if you can build the confidence up in him to get him playing like he did in the minor leagues, now you found something.
Here's Volpe. 3-run home run in the 9th inning last night. And the first base up, Jansen Visconti said he did not hold up. So that's strike one. Runner goes. High fly ball, right center. Thomas on the run. Makes the play on the track as Dominguez retreats.
That's another part of the game of Dominguez. He was in motion. I mean, he can steal some bases in the short time that he was here. Had 5 stolen bases last year.
Now, we told you about Judge getting his 500th extra base hit. Third quickest Yankee, did it 999 games. I don't know if you know the first two. Older names. Joe DiMaggio did it in 853 games. Lou Gehrig in 869.
Well, I'm sure Babe Ruth's up there somewhere.
No.
Really?
Nope.
Babe must not have hit a lot of doubles.
Driven into left center field and deep. That ball is going to be in there over the grab of Gurriel. So Grisham with an RBI double as Dominguez streaks home with the Yankees' 4th run.
Gurriel, pretty solid left fielder, and the ball just kind of beat him out there off the end of his glove, and Dominguez hustling all the way, easily scores. But boy, you've seen better swings from the Yankee hitters so far tonight in the first inning than you have in the past 2 games.
So pitching coach Brian Kaplan comes out and talks with Kelly. And here's J.C. Ascari. You see what he did in spring training to earn a spot on the roster. He's 29 years old. Former 15th round draft pick by the Orioles in 2017. He released by the Orioles in 2022. He played independent ball in Mexico and Puerto Rico. Won the Dominican League batting title this past winter with a .363 average. And while he was trying to make ends meet, he drove an Uber, and he was a substitute teacher. A nice story. A story of perseverance. One 1-0. When Meredith had the interview with him on our open, and then she showed the video of when Aaron Boone told him he made the team, which was very emotional. And then the Yankees video JC calling his mom, and she just went bananas, and she was crying, and then he was trying to hold back the tears, and in the video you could see a tear fall off the end of his nose. It was very, very emotional. Popped up. Suarez makes the play in fair territory for the final out. Yankees with a 4 spot, but 3 of them on this one swing. Aaron Judge with his 5th home run of the year. Yankees lead 4-0. Well, let's check out FanDuel's live same-game parlay.
Dominguez already got a hit, so that's part of it. Huh?
That's part of it. So the Yankees give Carrasco a 4-0 lead as he heads to the second. And he'll face his former teammate, Josh Naylor. Do you think there's any coincidence, Paul, that after he made that costly throwing error at first, that he's been the DH the next 2 games?
Yeah, I think that, that this team they got to play good baseball. And part of their, being a good team is making the plays. They're a good defensive team. And, that should have cost them the game. It ended up not costing the game, but it should have.
So 3-0 on Naylor. And there's ball 4. Arizona, as we mentioned, is 4-2. But in the National League West, that's not good enough.
Wow.
The Dodgers are 8-0. The Padres are 7-0. The San Francisco Giants are 5-1.
Yeah, but even in these 2 games that you've seen, and we even talked about before, they're a good team. You can tell. They've got good guys in the bullpen. Their starting pitching's much improved. They've got some stars on the field. They just all kind of mix or match day in and day out with righties, lefties. They have speed. So a lot of good things you watch on the field here.
Did he go? No, said Visconti. Gurriel with that big first inning home run against Rodon last night. Rodon struggled in the first 2 innings, gave him 2 and 2, but then really settled down and stuff came around as well. And because of that, the Yankees didn't have to burn out their bullpen. He gave them 6. And then Yoendris Gomez gave them 3. And that covered the 9. That's popped up. Rice gives it a look. And a great catch by a fan. Happened to be in the area. Coming in, Grisham going out is Volpe, and Volpe makes the play.
There's an old saying, Michael, there's always some place to be on a baseball field, on a hit ball. And if you watch, if this ball drops, Carrasco had run to second base because both the second baseman and the shortstop are out trying to make this play. So to just stand out there and not go anywhere, there's somewhere to be.
Here's Eugenio Suarez with the grand slam in the first game of this series, and that one is line and over the leaping try of Cabrera and down in left field. Backing up to the warning track is Dominguez. He fires to second, but Suarez there with a double. Moving to third is Naylor.
A little breaking ball that didn't have much bite, and Suarez has been hot with the home runs, especially line down to left field. And if you go through your head on this play, if you're Dominguez, you make sure you catch the ball. Naylor doesn't have good speed, but it's got to be pointed out that you're throwing the ball to third base. You're hitting the cutoff man. You've got no chance of throwing out the base runner at second base. You don't want a fast runner, which Naylor is not, to round third base and score on you because you threw the wrong base.
Yankees play the infield back. Chisholm throws out Thomas. Scoring is Naylor. Moving to third is Suarez. Diamondbacks get a run back. It's 4-1. So with 2 outs, that'll bring up Hampson. Oh, and 1. Oh, and 2.
If you're a Scar here, you got to remember now Carrasco's going to try to get a swing and a miss, and sometimes that ends up being a slider or something in the dirt. Man on third base, don't worry about catch it. Just make sure that you block it. Don't give them a run here with 2 outs.
One and 2. Jose Herrera is on deck. Strike 3. Third strikeout for Carrasco. Diamondbacks get a run. They lead 1. We go to the bottom of the second. The Yankees baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by Montefiore Einstein, the official hospital of the New York Yankees. By PNC Bank, season start presented by PNC Bank, brilliantly boring since 1865. By the New York Lottery, get out there and play. And by Optimum Fiber, get Optimum the fastest fiber internet. Don't take slow for an answer. 4-1 Yankees. We go to the bottom of the second. 9-1 and 2 in the Yankee order. Oswaldo Cabrera fouls it back. Rough first inning for Merrill Kelly. A 3-run home run by Judge, an RBI double by Grisham. That one's popped up. Perdomo makes the call on the catch. Stream every out-of-market game live or on demand, plus stream MLB Network 24/7 for the entire season. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. There's Ben Rice. You know, sometimes we think the game is so complicated because of all the analytics and things like that. And
there you go. That's not so complicated.
There you
just
go.
cross somebody out and put somebody in.
That's why you shouldn't have names on the back of the jersey.
There you go.
22 is always 22. But Aaron Boone was asked by Meredith today, you know, why Rice is the leadoff batter. He said he rakes.
Simple enough.
Yeah.
Michael, I thought he was going to give some type of a detailed description as to why they decided to go in that direction. He just looked at me and smiled and said that. And I was like, okay, all right. They're hoping they rake today in general as a team. So far, so good.
Well, he raked in the first inning with a double over the head of Thomas. Two and two.
I think Ben Rice has shown that he can catch up with the fastball. You saw him take puck in the second deck. Hard throwing lefty, and they caught up to another fastball. But it's just now you're going to have to see how he adjusts to the breaking ball.
Let's take a look at the exit velocity presented by Spectrum, and these are the hits that Ben Rice has. And that's the one thing that really caught the Yankees' attention in spring training. He's always hit the ball hard, but much harder this year. And he also has always had a good eye, works a walk.
Leadoff hitters are supposed to do, right?
Rakes.
Rake, and take walks.
Cody Bellinger walked in the first inning. he got the catcher on the backswing.
It's amazing how just the follow through with that hardwood bat catches it on the back of the hand. Caused a lot of pain for catchers.
Well, so much of it is about bat speed. He's got bat speed. He really puts everything to every swing. Diving back is Rice.
Rice didn't steal a base last year, but he is a leadoff hitter.
And now Kelly has both of his throws out of the way.
Well, we'll get a big lead here.
Tipped into the glove of Herrera. And Bellinger is down on strikes. Time for Coors Light, beating the pressure. Fewest games to 500 career extra base hits. Aaron Judge did it in 999 games. Good start to a season, 5 home runs, 14 ribbies. And that home run in the first inning was his 320th career home run. Remember, because he went to college, he started late. And then his first year, when he broke in, he got injured, so he didn't play that much in 2016. Then won the Rookie of the Year in 2017 while hitting 52 home runs. How about having those 3 numbers on the back of your baseball card? 52 home runs, 58 home runs, 62 home runs.
Yeah, unbelievable, really. You know, you just wondered when he showed up, is his power, you know it's there, but is he going to be able to command the strike zone enough to hit 62 home runs? Because you're going to start getting pitched around. And that's the biggest difference I see in Aaron Judge today and when he stepped foot in the major leagues.
High fly ball, right field. Corbin Carroll puts it away, and that'll do it. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 man left. Let's go to the 3rd. Yankees Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by Delta, the official airline of the New York Yankees. Delta, keep climbing. Number 9 batter Jose Herrera leads off against Carrasco. And a strike as we start the 3rd.
Michael, let's just finish this story. You were correct. Read this text I just got from Stevie Donahue.
Joe Torre started that. We were in Milwaukee and he saw me eating a cookie. Well, there you go.
Well, thanks, Stevie. We needed the answer up here.
Stevie, the Yankees' longtime athletic trainer. They have a great staff, and those that know him call him Cookie. So now we know why. And the same reason for Carrasco. They saw him eating a cookie. Let's line right to Cabrera.
Well, so far, so good for Carrasco. He did give up the 1 run, but 8 out of the first 9 pitches. First pitch strikes, and that's what he needs. And he can kind of expand a little bit.
Here's Carroll, struck out looking in the first inning. .78 mile-an-hour slider, 0-1. Fly ball shallow left field. Volpe's backing up and makes the play in front of Dominguez.
You know, you played with a pretty good shortstop that went back on the ball in the outfield very well.
Yeah, one of the better ones I've seen. The best I ever saw was Ozzie Smith. He went back on the ball better and caught it over his shoulder. But Derek Jeter was really, really good at that play.
You guys are together forever out there.
Look at that.
And we talked about it being the anniversary of his first start at shortstop in an opening day game, and he made one of those catches against the then Indians at the ballpark to open up the series, and also had a home run.
Well, Dennis Martinez, I do remember that day.
One and one. On Perdomo. Just clips the inside corner, 2-2.
Well, this at bat, it's been soft away, and then that hard two-seamer in. And let's go back away with something off speed.
Swing and a miss. Changeup. That is the fourth strikeout for Carrasco. We'll go to the bottom of the third. Well, it's time for Pinstripe Pride, brought to you by Toyota, the official hybrid vehicles of the Yankees. And today's pitcher is of the Garudo family. Rob, Amanda, Gloria, and George. They're all rooting for the Yankees in the series finale tonight. I don't see George in that. Where's George? Anyway, use the hashtag Toyota Pinstripe Pride. Mention yes in pictures you post to social media to reflect your love for the Bronx Bombers. We might spotlight you in a future game.
What was the first clue that wasn't taken at Yankee Stadium, Michael? Did you look at the picture real close?
I did not.
Couple palm trees in the back. It's just I haven't seen any of those in Westchester.
No, there's a couple palm trees on the concourse.
Is that right?
Yeah,
they're just fake.
Yeah. 2-0 on Jazz, leading off the bottom of the third. Yankees lead 4-1, trying to salvage the final game of the set. High fly ball, deep center. Thomas back, he has room. One down. Hey, tomorrow afternoon on Yes, the Yankees kick off a 6-game road trip with a matchup against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Coverage begins at 3:30 with the pregame. Then first pitch will be just after 4 on Yes and the Gotham Sports app.
You better breathe deep and just enjoy what you're feeling tonight, because I don't think Pittsburgh and Detroit are going to offer that to you. It's supposed to be freezing there, right?
Well, it's not supposed to be freezing in Pittsburgh. It's supposed to rain a lot.
Okay.
Detroit, that's a different story.
Windows closed like we did that one time?
Well, I have requested that. We'll see. Dominguez chops one to Hampson.
You know, I fought to go to Detroit.
Oh, there's George. See, they cut George off.
Wow, that's because they wanted to show the palm trees a little bit more.
Well, it's more important that George get in there. George Garudo. We love you, George. So here's Anthony Volpe. Lofted into center field, and that is going to dunk in for a base hit. Over the reaching try of Hampson, and Volpe with a 2-out single.
Well, there's a little something different here. Right off the end of the bat, the torpedo bat, that is. And it's not a home run, Michael. Every other hit he's put together this year has been a home run.
Now, with a torpedo bat, you really don't want to hit the barrel at the end of the bat because you're taking the wood from the end of the bat onto the sweet spot. But it worked out. Now, David Cohn was talking about the torpedo bat, and I think really smart pitchers are going to be able to take advantage of. He said, I wonder how they'd like to hit my outside pitch. You just keep pitching outside, make them hit off the end of the bat. But you do miss your spot.
Yeah, obviously, and you know, hitters do adjust to put the barrel on the bat to an outside pitch, but you know, there is a lot to be, you know, talked about, and it's not a new thing. The bat's been around for a while, so obviously it looks good to some guys. If you arguably the two best hitters in the American League and National League, you got Ohtani and Judge. Neither of them use the bat, so I mean, it's not for everyone.
And also, just because you have a torpedo bat doesn't mean that it's been vetted enough by your front office where should the extra wood be? Where does each hitter, I mean, the bat should be specifically designed for the specific hitter. You just don't say, okay, we're going to have a fat barrel and it's going to work.
But if you look at other sports, and I think baseball was somewhat behind on the analytics because golf had, you know, swing or speeds and spin rates and all these things. And also golf clubs are so personalized, even more so than bats. And believe me, bats are personalized.
Deep to right field. Carroll back on the track at the wall. See ya. Home run, Grisham. A 2-run blast, and the Yankees lead 6-1.
Well, the balls are flying again tonight, Michael. I think the Yankees is like warm weather. Anytime you get a spot start, and Grisham is a phenomenal defensive player. Offensively, if you get some things from him, it's really going to help.
Here's the Scar. Looking for his first big league hit.
Yeah, that's just a belt-high fastball right down the middle. A major league hitter, you don't miss that very often.
0-2.
Yeah, four-seam fastball, little movement. You got to hit your spot with that pitch.
Fly ball, shallow right, coming on Carroll. And he's there. 2-run home run by Grisham. 6-1 Yankee lead. Tri-State Cadillac scoreboard 6-1 Yankees over the Diamondbacks. 4 home runs for Anthony Volpe, and he is one of the guys that uses the torpedo bat, and we got a hold of one. And Paul, you have it.
I mean, the first thing you want in a bat is that it looks good to you. And if you look at this bat, the barrel is so large in here where the sweet spot is. It looks good and it feels good. It balances out a little bit. The one difference you'll see is how thin it is at the end. And my question was, you know, if you hit a ball off the end of the bat, is it still going to play the same? But we just saw that Anthony Volpe did. He hit a ball off the end of the bat, and it did. Now, this wood at the end of the bat has been moved down towards the barrel. And again, when I talk to some of the players, it just feels much more balanced. This is a maple bat, which pretty much all bats are. I talked to Chuck Schupp today, who really, you see Volpe hit it off the end of the bat, was still able to get a base hit. But Chuck Schupp was with Louisville Slugger when I played. He's been in the line of making bats his whole life. He said, talk to me at the All-Star break if it makes that big of a difference, because you know what, obviously if you hit it in the right spot, I don't care if you got a torpedo bat or not, it's going to carry. You do have a little more wood right in this area, more right in the barrel, and less here. So you wonder if the handle is going to take the pressure because there's a little more wood here. So there's a few things that are really questions to be answered. But I tell you what, as a player, the first thing you notice is it's very balanced and it's got a nice barrel that just looks like it wants to hit. Let's see if it works. Go on ahead.
Now, the interesting thing is, there is a little bit more by the label, so people do get jammed every now and then. That's usually not a great thing for a hitter. The bat usually breaks, but most of it's in the sweet spot, but some of it is here.
Well, it's depending on the player, and that's why it's so personalized. You might have a little bit more towards the end, or if you see a player fouling the ball off time and time again, and that's where, the knowledge of the Yankees have really, figured out certain players hit the ball here a lot, so you move some of the wood down that way. But you know what? They've been changing bats for hundreds of years. Ash bats are really not even in existence anymore. So that is a torpedo bat that you hear about. This is an actual bat from one of the Yankees. We won't say who, but let's do this again at the All-Star break.
You would do it if the technology existed? Would you have a bat like this?
I absolutely would, because I used to use a bat with a large barrel, and just looking at this bat is very comfortable to me. And some bats are so tapered towards the end that it just didn't look like you had a good sweet spot. I've always said Bernie Williams had the ugliest bat I've ever seen in my life. I said, Bernie, how good a hitter you'd be if you use a regular bat. All the wood was at the end of the bat, which made no sense to me. But this bat, to me, looks like, you're going to hit the ball hard.
Josh Naylor hits one hard up the middle for a base hit. Moving to third is Pavin Smith after he led off the inning with a walk. So first and third for the Diamondbacks, nobody out.
Ball right back up the middle. Carrasco wanted to keep it on the ground. He did. It just seemed to find a hole somehow, some way. It wasn't hit hard.
People put so much thought into choosing their bat.
Oh, yes.
And I heard a story the other day. I was talking to Tom Verducci of SI and Fox Sports, and he was on my radio show. And he said, before he got drafted by the Yankees, Derek Jeter never used a wood bat.
Right.
Ever. And he goes down to camp as an 18-year-old, doesn't have a bat, sees a bunch of bats line up against the batting cage, grab one, hit with it, and he used that bat his entire career, that model.
Yeah, well, like I said, the most important thing as a hitter is, and there's hundreds of different models. Fat handles, thin handles, big barrel, light. You have to be comfortable at what you look at day in and day out. And I would say that the majority of players, like your story, use basically the same bat their whole career. I used a bat in Cincinnati, and then I used a bat with the Yankees. Never changed away, never changed from it.
Hit sharply and inside third and down the left field line. Smith will score. Digging it out of the corner is Dominguez. Naylor stops at third. It's an RBI double for Gurriel, and it's 6-2 Yanks.
The Diamondbacks just keep trying to claw back closer and closer. Carrasco trying to keep the ball down, and these breaking balls are kind of hanging up in the strike zone. Good swing on it, line down the left field line. And you can tell by that bat right there as it goes through the zone, most of the wood towards the end of the bat. That's a traditional bat.
It's so unusual that this has kind of been the talk of baseball.
Yeah.
And it was because of us talking about it on Saturday and then the Yankees having the 9 home runs. But this has been used in baseball by players for the last 2 years. And I found this fascinating, Paul. Last year, Giancarlo Stanton had one of the great postseasons that you'll ever see. He won the American League MVP for the championship series using a torpedo bat. That one's popped up off the bat of Suarez. And I asked somebody in the know, I said, okay, so this guy's owning October in the biggest games. How could nobody have seen it or asked about it? And it was as simple as this. The guy told me, because it was a black bat. You can't tell.
You don't know.
Night games and a black bat, you just don't notice it.
I mean, there's so many things that have come even since I play. I mean, there's a handle now that resembles an axe handle, which I really would have loved, because I always worried about my top hand staying on top of the ball. And with the handle, kind of sanded like an axe, you're almost chopping it. It reminds you by just holding the bat. I mean, changes years ago of the ash bat, which you really can't get anymore, to maple. First player to do that, Barry Bonds. He brought maple into the game. So it's a little bit lighter, a little bit harder wood. But then Major League Baseball had to do a lot of things because those bats, if you didn't hit them on the sweet spot, they would just explode. And you know, so I'm sure that these are going to be tinkered with. It's not the last time you're going to see a different model or a different type. But the same team, I'm talking about the Yankees, that hit all the home runs in the first 3 games, struck out 30 times in the next 2. So you still have to be a talented major league hitter to make any bat work.
Naylor at third, Gurriel at second. 6-2 Yankees, nobody out. Yankees play the infield back. You know, I've been to the Hall of Fame and lucky enough to get one of the, you know, back of the hall tours, and you have to put on the white gloves. And, you know, I hold Babe Ruth's bat, and it was like a tree trunk. It wasn't even contoured. So bats have changed over the years.
Absolutely. I mean, there's regulations. They can only go up so many ounces. They can only be so long. And that's the thing with these bats. They're all legal.
Great change up there to strike out the dangerous Suarez.
You know, I got a little overzealous up here about hit James in the head. I wouldn't have had a stat the rest of the year if I took James out.
So one down here is Alec Thomas. And a strike.
Carrasco really fought and he got that big out against Suarez. Now he's got Thomas up there still trying to save runs. Keep New York ahead here in this game.
Skied the other way down the left field line, but foul. Just foul. That really hugged the line. It didn't slice as much as it normally would coming off a left-hander's bat.
Well, Carrasco not a strikeout pitcher, so you know you're almost trying to set up a pitch here, maybe bust him in so you can go away to try to get a strikeout.
The last time up, Thomas put the ball in play with the infield back just like now and picked up an RBI. He does the same thing again. So Chisholm gets him at first, scoring easily as Naylor. Gurriel moves to third. And now the Yankees lead is 6-3.
They tried to get a strikeout with a breaking ball before then, but it just, you know, this is what Arizona does. And we've talked about it. They led the league last year, or led all of baseball with runs, and that's how you do it. You get guys in with third base with 2 outs. You put the ball in play. You don't have big strikeouts when you need contact, and that's the type of team that they are.
Hampson up the middle, but right there, Chisholm, and he makes the play for the final out. But the Diamondbacks get closer. They score 2. The New York Yankee Foundation's 50-50 raffle is now open during every home game at Yankee Stadium. One lucky fan wins half the pot, and the other half is donated to the New York Yankees Foundation. Buy your tickets now at Yankees.com/5050. 9-1-2 in the Yankee order. Tri-State Cadillac scoreboard 6-3 Yankees as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning, and there's a strike to Oswaldo Cabrera. They really play Cabrera to pull in the infield. The shortstop, Perdomo, is about as far as you can go without breaking the rule. He's right next to being directly behind second base. Now he moves a couple steps to his right with 2 strikes. 1-2. Third baseline is wide open. Fouled away. Ben Rice on deck. Double in the walk so far tonight as the Yankee leadoff batter. Two and 2 on Cabrera. Strike 3. Cabrera down looking. Ben Rice coming up when we take a look at the leaders, brought to you by your local Tri-State Genesis retailers. This season in 6 games, it's a great start for Ben. 429, 2 homers, 2 ribbies, slugging at 1, OPS of 1.5. You know, the old saying in baseball, somebody gets hurt, it's an opportunity for somebody else. So if Stan wasn't hurt, Rice would not be getting this time. So this is a chance for Rice to grab a significant part of a job. They'll make room for him somewhere. And Boone said just because he's playing first and he's been DHing, he's been working a lot behind the scenes with Tanner Swanson. He continues to be a catcher. He said, we'll get him back there. We will get him back there. Because a catcher that can hit like that is pretty valuable.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, catching has become a position that's all labeled by framing and blocking balls and things like that, where, you know, in the old days, catchers, you know, Johnny Bench, guys like that, they were a huge part of your offense, too. Thurman Munson.
Mike Piazza.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's a little bit of a disadvantage because, you know, before the DH with Mike Piazza, you can't catch him every day, but you need his bat in the lineup every day. They tried him at first, and that didn't go well. So 3-2 on Rice. And he walks. Took a very close pitch. Walks for the second time.
You can kind of tell by the hesitation of a hitter whether he's kind of unsure that that's ball 4 or not. I mean, you start to walk to first base, but you just are listening at the same time.
Bellinger has walked and struck out, also scored a run. You know, when Rice is at first, playing first, and as he's on first, sometimes he startles the opponent because he speaks fluent Spanish.
Oh, really?
Absolutely. And like they look at him, and he just speaks the language beautifully. And when he does that, his nickname is Ben Arroz.
Arroz, I was going to say, he speaks Spanish. That's what it's got to be, right?
For those that don't know, rice in Spanish is arroz.
I don't know. That's one of the 10 words I know in Spanish.
There you go. Don't worry, I took 8 years. I don't know that many more.
Say hi, goodbye.
And mi amo. 2-1. On Bellinger, and Judge is on deck.
Such a big pitch, because if he walks Bellinger, then he's in the same position with Aaron Judge with a man on first and second, which gives you very little wiggle room to try to get through the lineup. Pitch to him.
Runner goes, and it's a strike. They don't throw through. So Rice with a stolen base.
Well, that's old school, and I love it, too. When you see the guy on first base running, give him an opportunity to steal that base. That's his first career stolen base. But unless you've got 2 strikes and you hear runners going, don't pull the trigger. Give him a shot.
So you would give yourself a second strike to give the guy?
All the time.
Really?
I would tell Jeter, I would tell Knobloch, you know, if you can get a base, go. I mean, much easier to hit a single than it is to drive in a guy from first base.
That one is ripped into center field, sinking, but Thomas with the catch.
One play leads to another. A good catch by Thomas, but now with first base open, you've got options with Aaron Judge, and that is a sinking line drive, and it was hit extremely hard.
Judge, a 3-run home run in the first, fly ball to right in the second. So the home run in the first was his 500th career extra base hit. 19th in franchise history, 19th place. Next up, 18th place, Paul O'Neill with 503.
I got a good feeling he's going to catch, huh?
Great start for Judge. Up the middle and a base hit. Rounding third is Rice. He's coming home. The throw from Thomas is cut off. It's an RBI single for Judge. And the Yankees lead 7-3.
Well, Kelly tried to make perfect pitches instead of walking Aaron Judge and pitching around him with first base open. Got around that ball. Tried to run a two-seamer back to the outside corner. That's the second time that Aaron Judge has handled that ball from him away. Just a great piece of hitting. Another RBI for Aaron Judge.
Might have broken his bat, but he picks up a ribby, has 15 runs batted in. Does it make much sense to you, Paul, that they don't pitch around him? Why would you give him a pitch to hit? First base is open.
Again, you're probably trying to throw a two-seamer that never gets back to the plate, but pitchers make mistakes, and it's just easier for me answering questions, as a pitcher or a manager. Aaron Judge off to the races. You can tell Marino not behind the plate tonight. Back up Herrera. Marino the best in the baseball, throwing out runners. Aaron Judge first of the year. But back to your point, Michael, we were always taught to just not let the best players beat you. Mm-hmm. You let Aaron Judge beat you right there.
I mean, when Aaron Judge is running from first to second like that, it must register on the Richter scale, right?
And he can run, too. You don't like to see him, try to steal 20 bases, which he easily could. He has the speed, but it just takes a lot of wear and tear on a big body like that. It's one thing, by getting Bellinger, I thought immediately when I saw that trade, that's going to put Aaron Judge back in right field, and that's going to take a lot of wear and tear of Aaron Judge trying to run center field day in and day out.
Two and two on Chisholm. 3-2. Dominguez on deck. Yankees lead 7-3. Deep to right field. Fair ball. It's gone. It is foul. Well, Herrera is taking a beating. Second time he's gotten hit. Yankees have 2 stolen bases against him.
Yeah.
Driven deep to right field. No doubt about it. A 2-run shot by Chisholm. It is 9-3 Yanks.
Jazz Chisholm, I mean, it's 4th of the year, and they've been no doubters. He's not the biggest of guys. Tremendous amount of bat speed and power. And that is back to hook one foul and then crush one. The big Yankee home run and another big Yankee inning.
Hits one deep to left center field. That's got some ride to it. And that ball is up against the base of the wall. Dominguez gets himself a double. Second hit of the night.
Well, you look back before it, Jazz again, another fastball right down the middle of the plate. And they're not coming back tonight. The Yankees back to hitting them in the seats.
Rough outing for Merrill Kelly. Yankees as a team have 22 home runs. This is just game 6. That's a major league record, by the way, Paul.
Yeah, I think they cleared the game 6 level in game 4 or something, didn't they?
Yeah, when they set the game 4, it was also for 5 and 6, but now they're just showing off.
They're just pouring it on.
Yeah, just flexing. Merrill Kelly, good first outing, rough second outing. They'll go to the bullpen. Ryan Nelson will come on. It's time to name that Yankee. Brought to you by Prevagen, made for your brain. All right, 252, 71 home runs, 217 ribbies. Played for the Yankees in 01. Let's see. Angels, Blue Jays, Giants, Rockies.
Oh, my goodness.
This is a 10, by the way.
I got you. I got you tonight.
You got this.
I got you. One of the most unbelievable moments that happened in 2001, Michael. Think about that.
Okay. Ryan Nelson will come on. Started 25 games last year, working out of the bullpen. Volpe hits one the other way. Will it stay fair? No, it's a foul ball. How about this stat? So, with his RBI single, Judge has 15 runs batted in. He has more RBIs than the entire Rockies team have scored. They have 11 runs in 6 games. He has 15 RBIs. That's the entire Rocky team.
Yeah. And I mean, you can play that game with the home runs, too.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some teams with, 3 or 4 home runs as a team right now.
It's also more than the Braves. The Braves in 7 games have scored just 14 runs.
Pretty good team, too.
Not so far. Swing and a miss as Volpe down on strikes. While the Yankees add 3 more. 2 on this swing. Into the Bronx night. No chance for anyone with a fan. Time for pitching decisions presented by Sage. Carlos Carrasco through 4s allowed 3 runs.
Yeah, he's really worked it. I mean, you see he's not overpowering. Sinker, slider, got a couple big outs. I'm sure Aaron Boone would love to see him get through this 5th inning and then hand it over to the bullpen. But got to be happy for what he's seen. He's at the point of his career now where, he's basically got to be perfect with pitches. If he makes mistakes, he's going to get hit. But he's a veteran pitcher that understands where he is in his career right now. One good thing, if you look at it, I mean, strike 1 is so important. 16 out of 18 first pitch strikes. So he has pitched ahead pretty much all night.
The Yankees are going to have an interesting decision because Aaron Boone said today that Clark Schmidt, if things progress as they continue to, is going to be back in the rotation either April 15th or April 16th. Schmidt's an important pitcher for them. So that means that Will Warren or Carlos Carrasco are going to have to go out of the rotation. Now, the disadvantage for Will Warren is he has options left. Fly ball center field. And that drops between Volpe and Grisham. Leadoff single for Herrera. So you can send Wilson down, not worry about losing him. You can't send Carrasco down without the threat of losing him. So even though Wilson might be pitching better, it might be a guy with the higher upside, the options get you.
Right. Volpe did all he could. I mean, at a full sprint, Grisham could not get to it. Just off the end of the bat. No chance for either player.
A strike to Carroll. Ryan Yarbrough continues to throw in the Yankee pen. Carroll 0 for 2 against Carrasco. 1-2. Tonight's injury report brought to you by Montefiore Einstein, the official hospital of the New York Yankees. Ian Hamilton yesterday with AAA Scranton Wilkes-Barre. 1 inning, 2 hits, 14 pitches. Expected to return from the IL during the Tiger series. Grounded to first. Rice steps on the bag one. Throws to second. Double play. Nice play by Ben Rice.
You know, I was just thinking to myself, Michael, you know, here's Carroll. You want to keep the ball on the ground, but you probably can't double him up. A really solid play. The hardest double play that you can do as a first baseman, because then you have to make a throw without hitting the runner. Double play that way. That's a tough one. Good job.
Nice night for Rice so far. Here's Perdomo.
A lot of first basemen will come way in towards the catcher to make the throw to second base. You saw Rice, as he was throwing, kind of change his arm angle and throw it a little bit higher over Herrera. Now watch, he doesn't go sidearm. See, all of a sudden he gets at an angle where he can kind of get it over the top. Gives Volpe a decent throw to make a quick tag.
Right over the safety.
Yeah, that's right. You know all the sports, don't you?
Fly ball. Grisham. That'll do it. No runs a hit. No one left. 5 strong by Carrasco. Yankees baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by your local Ford stores. Ford is proud to be the official SUV of the Yankees. And by Delta, the official airline of the New York Yankees. Delta, keep climbing. Audi scoreboard, Yankees lead 9-3. Trent Grisham will lead off against Ryan Nelson. Ryan Nelson made some news as Torey Lovullo in one of the games against the Cubs ran out of position players. And Ryan Nelson always told him, I can hit. And he called him in to pinch hit. And he got an RBI single.
Yeah. I think he was an everyday player in college or something like that. But I don't think he's hit since college. So it's pretty impressive.
Fly ball, deep left. Gurriel makes the play. A long way. And Grisham with power the other way.
Well, Gurriel's been doing it for a lot of years out there. He runs this one down. And playing that corner in Yankee Stadium's not so easy.
Here's Escaro. How badly does he want to get that first hit out of the way?
You know, it's obvious, any player, but even him with his story, you've got to get a few things under your belt before you get rid of the story and just try to have a major league career.
One and one on JC. Pop to third. Fly ball to medium range right. Grounded second base, Hampson. 2 down. So Merrill Kelly started for the Diamondbacks, and he got roughed up. He had pitched well against the Cubs in his first start, 5 1/3, 3 hits, 1 run, but Yankees put a 9 spot on the board against him. 9 runs, 9 hits. Also served up 3 home runs. Warming up in the Yankee pen is Adam Ottavino. They might be saying, hey, we got 5 innings out of Carrasco. And
if you break down, the Yankee philosophy, most of your wins are going to incorporate the bullpen. So, if you can get your starter, especially Carrasco, who's your 5th starter, through 5 with the lead, then, especially if your bullpen's somewhat rested, you can start filing them in. Williams still on paternity leave, so I would imagine that Weaver is your closer. You'd like to see Leiter get back in there to get the bad taste out of his mouth, and then you go on the road. Obviously, we talked about it last night, Michael. A lot of games coming up, without days off, so you're really going to have to watch the way you use this bullpen.
Pitch clock violation, and Nelson saying there's something with my pitch comm I wasn't able to hear. And gets a new one.
But it's still a violation, right?
Yeah. Because if it wasn't, then you could fake it.
Yeah, exactly.
Has one that works now. Remember, I was looking at some grainy old film, and Christy Mathewson had the same problem one day.
Oh, is that?
Yeah, couldn't
pitch
hear.
con?
Yeah, couldn't hear. One, 1 and 2.
I'm so accustomed to listen to my earbuds. I just wear earbuds out there. They don't go out, right?
If you could, would you wear earbuds in right field, listen to music?
You know what? I've seen players warm up. I would definitely would have worn them in batting practice and get loose and stuff like that. Yeah. Part of being on a major league field is listening to the crowd and feeling the crowd too. So that part of it during the game, you want to be part of it. Whether even if you're on the road, and you're getting booed, you're getting booed for a reason, because you're with the Yankees, and at that time we were good, right?
Yeah. High fly ball, left field, Gurriel. And that'll do it as the Yankees go down in order. We go to the 6th inning. Yankees up by 6.
Hey everybody, Bob Lorenz with your Audi update. Nestor Cortez faring a lot better in his 2nd start for Milwaukee. Remember what happened against the Yankees. Homers on 3 straight pitches. Tonight against the Reds, 5 strikeouts against just 1 hit. Sal Frelick's giving him an RBI with a 1-0 lead. So Nestor looking good against the Reds. 1-0 in the 5th, guys.
Well, thank you, Bob. Let's go around the majors. Dodgers off to a great start. First defending champion to ever start the season 8-0. The Braves not too good, 0-7. And then that final note, Christian Campbell, after agreeing to an 8-year, $60 million extension with the Red Sox, has gotten off to an unbelievable start. Not too bad. Had a second home run of the year today against the O's.
I think Crochet signed an extension. Why not pitch a gem, too? I guess if you get an extension, you're a little happy with yourself, huh?
I hope my boss isn't listening. Fly ball left field off the bat of Smith, backing up Dominguez, and he makes the play.
Dominguez gets back on it, then he kind of squares up to make it an easier play. But again, his defense has been talked about. He's taken good routes so far this homestand. I know at the end of the game he's been taken out, and sooner or later Aaron Boone is going to trust him where that gets out of his mind.
Here's Josh Naylor. Scored 2 runs, a walk and a single. Pitch outside, 1-0. Yankees lead 9-3. We're in the top of the 6th inning. There's a base hit to right field. Going to go into the corner. Digging it out is Bellinger. And Naylor.
Wow.
Just gets in. He's not too fast. And a pretty good arm by Bellinger made it really close.
Every once in a while as a right fielder, you just want to let one loose just to see, you know, if I do have a close play. Bellinger made a great throw. I didn't realize he had that kind of arm strength. That was a really good play.
Well, that looks like it is going to do it for Carrasco. He goes 5 1/3. And he leaves with a 6-run lead. His first Yankee start, the veteran, in his 16th season, 38 years old. Does a decent job and leaves with the lead and gets a nice hand from a big crowd at the stadium. Yankees baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by Untuck It. Find the perfect fit today at untuckit.com or more than 80 stores worldwide. By Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center. And by Nissan. At Nissan, we make cars that thrill. Experience the thrill for yourself today. Shop NissanUSA.com. Adam Ottavino will come on for the Yankees. Runner at second with 1 out. Last year with the Mets, high ERA of 4.34, but more than a strikeout per inning. Time was called by Gurriel. So give me your thoughts on Carrasco.
Well, I thought he battled, and you see that he does not have overpowering stuff. He's smart. He got a big strikeout when he needed it. He got out of a couple of jams. And again, I think you saw how happy he was when he handed the ball to Brett Boone, or Aaron Boone. That he gave him a good outing, a good chance for this team to win the game.
And when you sign February 3rd and you have to make the team in spring training and then you come out in front of a really large crowd at the stadium and you have a chance at a win, you have to feel good.
Well, you talked about his outing the other day.
Runner goes.
Wow.
Naylor is not a speedster, but people do run on Ottavino. Stolen base for Naylor, and you've got to make it when you're down 6.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, just a running lead right there. But again, down 6 runs. You're right. You better make sure. But now you're in scoring position with 1 out. An easy scoring position at third base. But back to your point, Michael, the other day he said he was nervous. He had that 2-inning stint, and he didn't pitch that well. He was much sharper tonight than he was first time he took the mound. What do you think of those drawers there, Michael?
A little, they look like culottes.
Yeah.
Popped up, shallow right. Chisholm makes the catch, and he will hold Naylor at third. It's a nice play by Chisholm. Check out the bullpen budget brought to you by Citizens. Make sense of your money with Citizens. Only Gomez pitched yesterday. That was important. So 6 innings from Rodon. Gomez the other 3, 43. And everybody's available today to get these outs in the final innings.
That's Yogo. Through
Yogo.
43 pitches.
Yeah.
Right?
That's what I heard Aaron Boone call him.
Yogo. I like the BOGO. That's the buy one, get one free.
Who doesn't?
Yeah.
This Cookie.
Got a couple cookie stories today, and they all ended up with the same line. It's all meat and a cookie.
You know, I prefer Yogo to the old tired. Let's add a Y at the end of the guy's name, and that's his nickname.
Judgy just didn't do it.
Girardi did that all the time. I love Joe, but everything had a Y at the end of it. Judgy, Wellesley, come on. Yogo works.
Well, you got a Y at the end of your name.
Yeah, but you can't do it. What is it, K-E?
Yeah, that's right. Put an EY there.
Two and one on Eugenio Suarez.
Michael, we've kind of laughed, but I mean, Eugenio. How do you get that out of that?
I don't question it. I just try to find out what they like.
That's right.
Eugenio.
Suarez. Much easier.
I give you credit. You have assiduously avoided Eugenio.
Well, I mean, you can only butcher things so much before you just throw in the towel and just go to the last name, right?
You can make anything possible because you have a connection that's built for everywhere. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
Matt Blake's going to come out and talk with Ottavino. Mark Leiter Jr. warming up.
You know what I meant to ask you today, Michael, and it surprised me. And you probably know because he's a good friend of yours. One of the biggest Yankee fans in the world is a partial owners of the D-backs.
Billy Crystal.
Billy Crystal.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. He actually had a World Series ring. Who's he rooting for when he's watching the D-backs and the Yankees?
You know what? Knowing Billy Crystal, he's probably secretly rooting it. And he played for the Yankees, too. He got into bat in spring training.
Can't get anything by you, Michael. I thought I had one.
Pitch to Thomas is a strike. First and third, 2 men out. How about this, Paul? In Ottavino's career, 192 attempts of stolen bases, 171 successful, 89%.
Yeah, that's, I mean, at some point you just say, you know what, if you're going to steal, steal. You know, one of my closest friends with the Cincinnati Reds, unbelievable pitchers. I get texts from him all the time, Rob Dibble. You could run on him too, but you know the thing was you can't steal home.
Right.
Nobody could get a hit off of him either, so you couldn't steal home.
There goes Suarez. Swing and a miss. Can't steal home. And that'll do it. No runs a hit. 2 men left. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th. Well, that strikeout of Alek Thomas that you're watching, well, it's the 6th Yankee strikeout. It's brought to you by Audi and the 2025 Audi Q6. Visit your local Tri-State Audi dealer today. Ben Rice leads off here in the bottom of the 6th inning. He has 2 walks and a double. Also a couple of runs scored and a stolen base.
And a good defensive play. He's had an all-around good night so far.
they gave Paul Goldschmidt his first game off after playing the first 5, and he'll be back in there tomorrow. It's opening day, the home opener for the Pittsburgh Pirates, so that game's an afternoon game. 0-2. Same thing with Wells, who started the first 5 games. They give him tonight off.
If you just take last year at this time and now, how far Austin Wells has come. You're talking about him. I mean, he was kind of working, learning the ropes, the backup catcher. He looks so comfortable now at being the starting catcher, wanting to play every single day. Good swings, off to a good start.
Suarez gets Rice. Yankees hockey jersey night is back for 2025. Come out to Yankee Stadium on Friday, April 25th, when the Yankees take on the Blue Jays. First 18,000 guests in attendance receive a Yankees hockey jersey courtesy of DKNY. Tickets are going fast, so get yours today at Yankees.com. Here's Cody Bellinger, 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. Well, we always talk about this on this day, every single year together. But on this date in 1919, in Jacksonville, Florida, Yankee outfielder Ping Bodie had a spaghetti eating contest against Percy the ostrich. And Bodie won because Percy
passed out.
He passed out after his 11th plate of pasta.
I don't know if I can go. I love pasta, but I don't know if I can go 11 plates on it.
I would just like to know how the ostrich did it. I don't think he was handling a fork.
No, it just plate after plate, just gobbling it up and just kicked over.
You do that now, you're going to get a call from PETA. I'm telling you. Rightfully so.
This is way before the Joey, what's his name? Joey Chestnut?
Yes, yes. Fly ball into left. Gurriel is there to retire Bellinger. And that'll bring up Aaron Judge, and it brings us to the Audi Electric Moment. Experience a fully electric Audi vehicle at your local Tri-State Audi dealer today.
In the first inning, nowhere to put Aaron Judge. A couple men on base and just a rifle shot to right center field. Never get tired of watching that guy hit.
4 ribbies for Judge, the 3-run home run, an RBI single in the 4th. Also stolen base and 2 runs scored. And a strike. What's the limit? A big plate of pasta. How many could you have?
1.5, 2.
You?
I mean, I got to have a side order. You just don't order pasta. You got to have something to go along with it.
Little meatballs?
Oh, some meatballs, piece of fish, chicken, something.
I don't think they gave little Percy that option.
No. Percy just went to sleep.
Yeah, the way it reads, he passed out after the 11th plate of pasta. And really, who came up with the idea? Oh, let's have a spaghetti.
Yeah. How do you even know an ostrich likes pasta?
Right. Well, those hot dogs are poised. That one is ripped to left field. It's a base hit. Oh, was that a blistering line drive? Judge going for 2. The throw not in time. Kind of an awkward slide into second, and he picks up a double.
Well, Aaron Judge is having one of those nights where every swing is right on. Just like you said, Michael, ripped to left field. Got out of the box quick. I mean, when you hit the ball this hard, you know you're going to get a throw to second base because it's going to come off the wall that quick.
My friend and colleague at ESPN Radio is Chris Carlin.
Yeah?
Great guy. And he just sends me a text. He said, marketing geniuses in 1919. Hey, you know what would be a great promotion? Let's get a player to eat a load of pasta, but do it against the contest an animal. Make it an ostrich.
You know why he passed out? Because he couldn't fly away. Yeah. I think ostrich, they're the only bird that can't fly, right?
There you go. And he was loaded down by carbs anyway.
Yes. He ran a marathon. He just couldn't fly.
One and two. Long home run by Chisholm his last time up. He has 4. Judge has 5. Volpe has 4. Let's take a look at those 3 home runs. StatCast 3D by Google Cloud. So the longest one was Judge's. Chisholm at 387, Grisham 354. 22 on the year for the Yanks, which is the record in Major League history through 6, and also they don't have their home run tomorrow in Pittsburgh. It's also the record after 7 games. This was a previous swing, an expensive one at that. His chain flew off. Wow. Oh. And the pendant, too, yeah.
The pin, I hope you got everything. There's a chain, and the pendant went over in the batter's box.
And that's not some cheapo chain, okay? I think there's some diamonds in that, Paul.
I got a good feeling he didn't buy that at Walmart.
Also, he's had a rough last 2 games, and if you see, he's taking off his anime stuff. Changing his lockup. Two and two. Swing and a miss. Chisholm down on strikes. No runs ahead. 1 man left. We go to the 7th. It's time to find out who that Yankee is. Now, Paul, you got it. I got a little bit after you, so this was a 10 and you got it.
Yeah, it was 2001, and I told you it was the most famous pitch that I remember of the year. Todd Green. President Bush came out during the World Series, threw a strike. I was lucky. For some reason, the 2001, the only year, me being with the Yankees, it just popped in my brain.
Ryan Yarbrough takes over. So Ottavino gets the final 2 outs of the 6th.
It was quite a moment, though, wasn't it, Mike?
Unbelievable. You know, the place was jammed, which I remember, and you do too. But there was an uneasiness.
Yes.
People didn't know what was happening, what was going to happen. They knew the president was going to throw out the first pitch, and we looked at all the buildings around the old Yankee Stadium, and there were snipers on the buildings. I mean, the security was suffocating, and it just was an uneasy feeling. And when he threw that pitch, the place just exhaled.
I can remember running sprints. I was out running sprints with Scott Brocious, and we kind of just stopped just to watch the pitch. And then, like you said, once the pitch was over and he was escorted off the field, then everybody just realized how cool it was, because we were all holding our breath, not knowing what was going on in the world.
And if you think about the pressure on him, everybody on the planet was watching that moment.
Yeah.
Not just baseball fans. And we found out later he was covered in Kevlar from neck to ankle in case somebody tried to do something. And for him to go to the mound and throw a strike, that was strike. It was just unbelievable. So dramatic. And of course, Jeter, before he went out on the field, said, "Better not bounce it."
That's true too. We were down in the bullpen. You had to go down to the hitting cage in the old stadium. You had to walk, 100 yards or so down to the old cage.
Three and 2 on Hampson. and he's walked. So leadoff walk. Let's take a look at that first pitch, Paul.
Yeah, this brings back a lot of memories.
You still get goosebumps watching it now?
Yeah, I really do. It's just one of the things I'll never forget. That night, that series, and what had happened.
Strike to Herrera. Yarbrough upstairs, 1-1. Yankees holding a 6-run lead. Carrasco with his first Yankee start, went 5 1/3, gave up the 3 runs. Ottavino for 2 outs in the 6th, now Yarbrough. Long set. Ball gets away. Hampson thought about it, but stays put.
Hampson does the right thing. When you're down 6 runs, you don't want to take any chances. You get a read, and you see that ball didn't get to the screen. Put on the brakes.
Three and 1. 9 runs on 10 hits for the Yankees. 3 runs, 5 hits for the Diamondbacks. You know, one thing you have to be careful about, Paul, and I think you'll co-sign this. The Diamondbacks are not going to go away. They're not going to say, well, we took 2 games. You know, this is they grind. They keep coming. They keep coming. So the Yankees know this too. That's why they're not going to stay that long with a reliever. They're going to go to a higher leverage guy. They don't want the Diamondbacks to creep closer.
And you got to remember, if you get something going, you know, you've got Marte on the bench. You've got some guys that can do some damage on the bench too. Grichuk's on the bench, Marino on the bench. So you know, they got a lot of things they could do if they could get back into this game, and that's what you got to be careful for if you're Aaron Boone.
Leiter's been up. So he's ready at any point. Yarbrough has to face 3 batters. This is Carroll, the 3rd batter, and pitch inside. And a strike. Hampson at second, Herrera at first. Nobody out here in the 7th. And there's a base hit to right field. Hampson playing it smart. Will just go base to base, and the bases are loaded. Nobody out for the Diamondbacks.
Well, walk set up big innings, and then you get a good at bat by Carroll. A little sidearm slider that just did not get off the plate away. Able to lace it into right field.
Remember, the Diamondbacks have some really good hitters they could pull off the bench. Marte, Grichuk, Moreno, McCarthy. That's a good bench. Here's Perdomo. And a strike. Remember, the Diamondbacks put up a 5 spot in the 8th inning on Tuesday. Bases loaded, nobody out. Fly ball, right field and deep. Going back, Bellinger on the track, at the wall, grand slam. And just like that, the Yankee lead is down to 2.
Well, you said it, Michael. They're not going to go away. I mean, they battle. That's just the way this team is. And, you know, you give up a hit, a couple walks, and a big fly, and all of a sudden, Aaron Boone's got to tune everybody up because they're going to end up using them. Ball up in the strike zone, kind of aiming the ball at this point. You can't throw a strike. Ends up in the bleachers. Grand slam.
Smith swings and misses.
Pull the hands in. Anytime you can get the barrel of the bat on the baseball and get it elevated to right field, you've got a chance.
Ground ball. Rice will flip to Yarbrough. 1 out.
I think Aaron Boone wanted the lefty against Naylor and Smith, so it's, you know, this will be his last hitter.
Naylor 2 for 2 with a walk, stolen base, couple of runs scored. One and 0 on Naylor. Jalen Beeks is up. And a strike, 2-1. What's that hand motion? What's he doing there?
Just kind of reminding himself on you know, the path of the bat. You know, if you see the ball, especially from a lefty, to stay inside it.
Popped up on the left side. Long run for Dominguez, and he makes the play for the second out. So after allowing him to stay in to get Naylor, Boone will go to the bullpen with Lourdes Gurriel Jr. due up, and again they have options coming off the bench. Mark Leiter Jr. will come in. The Diamondbacks have made this a game. 2 outs in the 7th. Yankees up by 2. It's time for PNC Bank Slow Moments. Aaron Judge after his 3-run home run. Carlos Carrasco after his 5 1/3. Home run by Grisham as well. And then against the team that he started with, the Diamondbacks, a home run by Chisholm. And Perdomo said, well, let's not celebrate just yet, as he hits a grand slam here in the 7th to pull them to within 2. Mark Leiter Jr., he gave up a grand slam in the first game of the series. Rough outing for Yarbrough. So Gurriel against Leiter. Checks the swing. There's a strike. Swing and a miss. Got him. On the splitter. Gurriel down on strikes. But the Diamondbacks score 4 on the Perdomo grand slam. At the end of 6.5, it's time for the 7th inning stretch. Yankees lead 9-7, but will stay right here as they honor America in the Bronx.
Ladies and gentlemen, will you rise and remove your caps? And please direct your attention to the area behind home plate as the New York Yankees welcome an honored military guest. United States Marine Corps Corporal Richard Houston from Butler, New Jersey, who served in Operation Desert Storm. The Yankees say, thank you, Richard, for your sacrifice and service to our nation. And now, please join us in singing along with Robert Merrill's rendition of God Bless America.
For your Ford Studio update, Bob and Jack with you on the pregame. You talked about early offense for the Yanks. Check that box, but now they got to find a way to stop the late runs by the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, 4 in the first inning, the top 4 in the order doing its job with 5 hits, 6 RBI, 6 runs, but they play 9 innings, as you said, Bob. Getting sticky for the Yankees. They've got 6 more outs to get to secure this win. You have to believe Luke Weaver, who hasn't pitched since opening day, will be a big part of getting those 6.
We'll see what happens, and we'll see you on the postgame, guys.
Well, thank you, guys. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning. You see the numbers, 9-10-0, leading 7-7-0. Kelly got roughed up. Perdomo with the grand slam. Carrasco 5 1/3 in his first Yankee start. Another big night for Aaron Judge. 3-run home run, RBI single, 4 ribbies, and 2 runs scored. Here's Jalen Beeks. You have to give credit to Ryan Nelson. Kept the Yankees right there at 9 runs, allowed his team to climb back in. Dominguez skies it the other way and out of play.
Michael, you had your earphones on. You didn't hear it, but in between innings,
yeah,
the song "Take Me Home, Country Roads," John Denver in chorus. The whole stadium was singing. It's a big improvement. I wasn't a big Cotton Eye Joe fan.
Really?
I'm glad that it got replaced.
That's stunning.
Just didn't do it for me.
Wow. And it was played throughout your Yankee career, I think.
Yeah, well. Sometimes you just got to tell the truth.
I'm telling you, we've worked together over 20 years. First time you revealed this. You're saving stuff, aren't you?
Yeah.
That's how you keep the relationship fresh. You okay with the YMCA? You want to throw water on that?
That's iconic. It's got to be there, I guess. Macarena came and went and gone, but you got to switch things up.
Roller to third.
Wow.
Suarez just gets Dominguez hustling down the line. Support America's military and first responder heroes. Donate $11 a month to the Tunnels to Towers Foundation at T2T.org.
We saw Suarez hit the grand slam the other night that it was a backbreaker. But, he's been a home run hitter, a solid defensive player. Last 7 years, he averages 155 games. It's a guy that you pretty much pencil in the lineup every single day.
There's a value to that.
Good, solid player.
Grounded right side. Hampson to the glove side against Volpe. There's Trent Grisham. 0-1.
Never seen Grisham. He puts the thumb, his top thumb, up the barrel of the bat, the handle of the bat, which I've never seen. I don't know. It changes as he goes to swing, but I don't understand how you release the bat. We're talking about his left hand when he puts it on. I mean, that thumb will be straight up the handle of the bat, which I've never really seen before.
And the other thumb interlocks into the whole hand. It's kind of like a golf swing.
Exactly, kind of like a golf grip. I mean, you never want to grip the bat too much in the palm of your hand. You want to use your hands, but to have the thumb up there and he hit it hard again, it's going to be safe at first base. Seems like it'd be very hard to release the bat.
That's a base hit. So 3 base hits for Grisham. Chasing back, Grisham. Ascara, 0 for 3. Still looking for his first big league hit. 0-2. Do you think you would have had the stick-to-itness to bang around the minor leagues for 10 years?
You know what? I didn't really have a plan B at that point. And, you know, if you love the game of baseball, you always have the hope that, this day's going to come. But, I was lucky. I had a constant kind of progression where it got closer and closer. But, you hear these stories, and believe me, it's not easy to do, to keep the confidence within yourself that somehow, some way, things are going to change and I'm going to get an opportunity to play in the major leagues.
And it wasn't like he was in an affiliated minor league. I mean, he was playing in independent ball after the Orioles released him and still hung in there. I can't see you as an Uber driver because you probably get a 2.5 rating, something like that.
No, I'm not. I don't like driving anyway. So, when I'm driving myself, I'm bored. What am I going to do if I got to drive somebody else, huh?
2-2.
Pick you up tomorrow? I'd have to go to Pittsburgh, wouldn't I?
Yep. An Uber driver today, the best.
Really?
Oh, just great. Great driver. Didn't say a word.
Didn't say a word. I was going to say had a good conversation.
I'm a fan of not saying a word.
It's funny because a lot of times on the way home I don't talk because you know what, we've talked long enough. You got to let things rest a little bit, right? You talk all day. You got a radio thing too.
That's right.
By the time this game's over, you're out of words.
Pretty much, yeah. I'll get on the plane tonight and
don't talk.
You don't even know I'm there. Yeah.
Is that right?
No.
Somehow I don't believe that.
No, I don't. I mean, you know who talks a lot on the plane? Our producer, Troy Benjamin.
Really?
Drives Susan Waldman nuts.
Troy's got good stories, though.
He does, but Susan says he's loud. I think he's delightful, but what are you going to do? 2-2. Foul back. It's a double. They'll get him that ball. Oh, is he feeling it? Come on, he can smile now.
Well, he's getting a standing ovation, and you know what, from the bench and from the crowd also. You know, he was at a point there where he's facing a lefty with 2 strikes and, you know, kind of getting in emergency mode, and he really turned on this ball. He just ripped it down the right field line. Now you got to put yourself back in the game. You're so excited. You don't know how many outs are. You don't even know what base you're on. So he pulled those hands in and just laced it down the right field line.
29 years old, drafted by the Orioles in 2017. He's been waiting to exhale. There you go. What a great moment. That's pretty good hitting, keeping the hands in like that.
Well, I tell you what, he pulled him in because he had seen some breaking balls away from a lefty. So sometimes the emotion takes over, Michael. You just can't act like you've been there before because you haven't. Now you're standing on second base after your first career hit and a double.
Very cool. So Paul Goldschmidt is pinch hitting for Cabrera. They will intentionally walk Goldschmidt, and they'll go lefty-lefty against Rice.
That's a good pinch hit, Michael. You just come off the bench and you don't have to see it. You just walk to first base. It's kind of nice. But you know what, pitch hitting, I've noticed over the past, I don't know, 5-10 years, has gotten much better. And I think it has to do with the facilities right down the, you know, from the dugouts. You can hit off machines and stay loose. In the old days, you're hitting off a tee. It was hard.
Bases loaded for Rice. There's a strike. Two.
A lot of off-speed stuff now, and I think he's going to have to show the league that he's able to, you know, gear it down, cover the curveball, the changeup. You've seen a curveball and a changeup in this at bat, even with bases loaded. They're not going to give in and give him a fastball. He's shown that he can catch up to anybody.
Still 0-2. Two runs scored today for Rice. Couple of walks, double, and he grounded to third. 1-2. Battling. Third pitcher by the Diamondbacks. Merrill Kelly started. Ryan Nelson in relief. Now Jalen Beeks. Grisham at third, Escar at second, Goldschmidt at first. Breaking ball misses inside. They call that one a cutter.
Now they call it anything but a fastball. You've seen in this count, everything has been off speed.
Swing and a miss, got him on the change. Big strikeout for Beek, so the Yankees strand 3. We'll go to the 8th. It's time for the Optimum Don't Take Slow for an answer replay. Escar didn't take no in his career.
It's such a cool story. I mean, we've talked about how it happened, but you know what? You only get one opportunity to get your first hit in the major leagues, and that's it. Number 1.
Really neat moment. Now back behind the plate, Hyundai scoreboard. Yankees lead by 2. Somebody jogging in from the Diamondbacks bullpen. No number on the back, so part of the support staff. That one is driven to right field. Right there is Bellinger to retire Suarez. Peraza will take over at third. Goldschmidt at first. So Rice is out. And Cabrera is out. Here's Alec Thomas. And a strike from Leiter. Foul ball, 0-2. Heating up. He could not hold up. He kind of waves through it, so Thomas down on strikes.
And unlike the other night, Leiter's been able to get ahead of some hitters today. And when you get ahead of the hitters, then that curveball and the split finger are swing and miss pitches for him.
So Marte is going to pinch hit for Hampson. So you might have a day off and think you have a day off, but then if you do enter the game, it's going to be in a high leverage situation. So there's a lot of pressure. You didn't have a day off.
Yeah, the best days off are when you have a blowout, and then you can really relax and know that you're not going to be part of the game. But anytime that you're in a close game, obviously, Marte, you want to swing the bat.
That one is looped into left field, and that's going to dunk in for a base hit. Will Boone go to Weaver for a 4-out save? And it looks like that's exactly what he's going to do. Didn't want to do it the other night, but wants to nail this one down. After having a 9-3 lead, and now it's become a little bit of a nail-biter. So Luke Weaver will come on. He'll face the tying run here in the 8th inning. Yankees up by 2. Luke Weaver is warming up. He's appeared in one game so far. There is some, I wouldn't say concern, but the Yankees have noted that his velocity is down from what it was at the end of last year. And when Aaron Boone was asked about it, he said, well, his velocity is about what it was at this time last year. So it's a build-up process. But when he did come in against the Brewers, he didn't allow a run. So there's a big spot for him right here. He was so important for the Yankees. After they took the closer role away from Clay Holmes, he stepped in and really did the job.
Yeah, I just wonder if there was ever a conversation. Obviously, when you got an opportunity to get Williams, one of the premier closers in the game, you do it. But what Luke Weaver did last year, I mean, that's it was impressive. He was really, really good.
Gabriel Moreno pinch hitting for Herrera. And there's a strike. 94 miles an hour. That's fine. Look what he did in those high leverage games with 1.03 ERA. He pitched very well in the postseason. Still 0-2. Fouled away. Moreno pinch hitting. He's the tying run. Yankees lead 9-7. Diamondbacks scored 4 in the 7th inning on the grand slam by Perdomo. They're trying for the sweep. Shelby Miller is up. Yankees looking to salvage the final game and finish the opening homestand 4-2. Fastball plenty good right there at 96.
Yeah, he kind of humped up and tried to get one off of the outside corner. He hung a changeup earlier in the count. Looks like he'll probably try to set that pitch up again. Just try to get it down.
Foul right back here.
Again, he had set that changeup up, but was not able to get it down where you can get a swing and a miss. Ball up in the strike zone.
Ground ball, second base, Chisholm. And Weaver gets the final out of the 8th. He's got 3 more to go. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Yankees 9, Arizona 7. Well, let's check out the T-Mobile coverage cam. We go back to the 5th inning. Ben Rice playing first base. Steps on the bag 1. Perfect throw to second for 2. A nice 3, 6. Double play on the T-Mobile coverage cam. Yankees have 3 outs to go to try to nail this one down. They lead 9-7 on the Hyundai scoreboard, 9-12-0, leading 7-8-0. Shelby Miller, last year with Detroit, 51 games, 6-8. Doesn't walk many, struck out 49 and 55 2/3. Marte takes over at second. And Bellinger swings through. Moreno behind the plate. to send out happy birthday wishes, Paul, for Jojo Graziano. He's 21 years old, big Yankee fan from the Bronx.
It's a big birthday in life. You know that when you turn 21?
That's right. You can now walk in the stands. Or the dugout, one of the establishments under the elevated train. One, two. Chases the fastball upstairs. Bellinger down on strikes.
That four-seam fastball just kind of away. You see the front hip going a little bit, just like almost looking inside. Another went away.
Another big night for Aaron Judge. 3 for 4, 4 ribbies. He's a triple away from the cycle. If you ever really want to rattle James Smythe, just say that phrase.
Yeah.
Triple away from the cycle. He hates it.
Why? Because it never happened, or
because
brought it up?
It always seems to be you're a triple away from the cycle.
Yeah.
1-1.
You know what? If I'm here and I'm thinking he's a triple away from this, I'd rather see a 2-home run night if I'm watching Aaron Judge, right?
And I think he'd rather have a second home run. Two and one. Hit sharply to short. Perdomo will get Judge. That'll bring up Josh Chisholm, and this is in the 4th inning.
Yeah, that was a bomb, too. I think he knew he got that one. Earlier in the bat, you remember, he just hooked one foul. Squared one up there.
He fixed the chain.
Yeah. There he got another one. Got an A and a B hanging in his locker, I'm sure, right?
One and 0. Weaver got the final out of the 8th. He needs 3 more, and he'll face the top of the order, Carroll, Perdomo, and Smith. At 9-3, going into the 7th, you're not thinking about having to use your high leverage guys and use your closer, but that's exactly what this game has turned into.
If you think about it, you would probably want to get Weaver in the game tonight at some point anyway. He hasn't thrown since, what, opening day, right?
Two and one.
I don't know if you'd like to get him in for 4 outs. Or...
Yeah, they want to stay away from that, especially early in the season, but you also want to win this game. It's kind of like a battle, an internal battle. While you were enjoying a commercial, big scene here in the booth as Joey Passanti,
Cotton Eye Joe,
who actually played Cotton Eye Joe on the scoreboard all those years, he came in and he took it to O'Neill.
I got beat up by Cotton Eye Joe.
And you had nothing to say. He was red hot.
Oh, it was funny.
He said his phone blew up. Why doesn't O'Neill like you?
No.
I told you it was a bold statement by you.
No, he was a great dancer. He did a great dance. It was just a song.
And the best part was he came in here holding the Cotton Eye Joe hat.
In costume.
Straw hat,
That's
yeah.
right. I wouldn't have recognized him without his hat on. Right? But now I knew exactly who came. Cotton Eye Joe came flying into the booth.
3-2 on Chisholm. Upcoming schedule brought to you by your local Tri-State Buick dealers. Yankees fly to Pittsburgh tonight. They'll start a series tomorrow at 4:12, and then on to Detroit on Monday. San Francisco back at the stadium starting next Friday. And Chisholm works a walk with 2 outs. Well, fans after the final out get highlights, analysis, clubhouse interviews, and we'll hear from the manager. Plus, a look ahead to the series at the Pirates. That's all coming up on the W.B. Mason Yankees postgame. So that brings up Dominguez. 2 for 4, batting from the left side against the righty Miller. Runner goes, pitches up and away, throw to second, not in time. So it is difficult to steal against Moreno, but Chisholm just did it.
We saw a lot of this last year. Jazz has good speed. And I'm excited to see with the Yankees when they start running, 40 stolen bases last year.
And that is Chisholm's 100th career stolen base.
Oh, a little push off there.
Yeah.
You can see he pushed him off the base, right? Try anything out there, Michael.
Well, he's clearly safe, but you'll see he slides over the bag. His foot's still on the bag, but then Perdomo pushes the foot off.
It's all fun and games now, but you saw them both screaming at the umpire. Huh?
So he explains to Torey Lovello that Chisholm didn't overslide the bag, that he was pushed off. So they were not going to allow it. There'll be no challenge. Yankees looking for an insurance run here. And a strike to Dominguez. Strike 2. Chisholm off second with 2 outs. Yankees up 9-7, bottom of the 8th. Anthony Volpe on deck. Swing and a miss. Got the fastball by him. 9th inning coming up. Luke Weaver tries to get the final 3 outs. Yankees baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by FanDuel. New customers can get $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. By Tunnel to Towers. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. And by Hyundai, with a brand new Hyundai, there's joy in every journey. Grand Central looking sharp on this Thursday evening. Yankees lead 9-7. Top of the order coming up for the Diamondbacks against Luke Weaver, who is the Yankee closer, with Devin Williams away from the team on paternity leave. Corbin Carroll fouls it off. Arizona with a 3-game winning streak. Looking to make it 4. Yankees want to snap that. One-on-one.
Said earlier in the game, Michael, that they don't give up. And in that 3-game winning streak, 2 of them were huge comebacks. The last one in Chicago, and then the big grand slam to take the lead late here in New York.
Nasty changeup, 1-2.
Yeah, last inning he could not get that changeup down, and that's where he wants it. Plays off that fastball well when it's down in the strike zone.
Popped up. Peraza giving it a look, but it's in the seats. One of his 62 appearances last season were 4 or more outs. This would be a 4-out save. Got the final out of the 8th. Goldschmidt will beat Carroll to the bag. Well, fans, the Yes app has moved to the Gotham Sports app, your new home for streaming live Yankees, Nets, and more, free with an eligible TV provider subscription. Download the Gotham Sports app now and sign in with your existing Yes app username and password, or visit GothamSports.com to get streaming. One down. Here is Perdomo. Grand slam his last time up. And a strike.
Well, we've had a beautiful night, Michael, so far. It's warmer, everything. But when I woke up this morning, it was drizzling gray, and that was Gotham. Huh? That's what it's all about, right?
You were looking for Batman.
That's right.
And Dominguez retires Perdomo. That's time for the Allstate Good Hands, and this is Volpe making a nice play, ranging into the outward field. Good hands indeed. So here's Pavin Smith, last chance for the Diamondbacks to keep this alive. Swings through the changeup, 0-1. Nine-7 Yankees. One and one. Dangerous. Josh Naylor is on deck. Got power. You don't want Pavin Smith to get on. We'll end it right here. Oh, strike. Weaver had his struggles when he was a starter, but he has found his calling. He is a really effective high-leverage reliever for the Yanks. And that'll do it. Yankees salvage the final game of this 3-game set. They win 9-7. Weaver gets the save, and it's a good opening set, going 4-2 in 2 3-game sets. They sweep the Brewers, and they take one against the Diamondbacks, and now head out to the road.
Well, they salvaged this one, and it was good. I mean, there's some feel-good stories in this. One of them right there, Escara gets his first big league hit, put that game ball in his back pocket. Aaron Judge got him off to a great start with a big home run in the first inning. And also Carrasco gave him a good opportunity to win. There's some stories out there, but the big story is the Yankees 4-2 to start the season before Michael and the crew head to Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh for 3, and then Detroit for 3 after that. Escara still in his feels. His first big league hit, it's a double, and he caught a win. We'll be back. The Yankees win 9-7. We take a look at the Cadillac drive of the game.
Well, Michael, you can hit a lot of home runs, a lot of hits in a career, but you only get to get your first one only once in a lifetime. J.C. Ascara in the 7th inning, first major league hit. Why not? That's a drive of the game.
And we'll hear J.C. with Meredith in the postgame show. 9-12-0. Yankees 7-8-0. Diamondbacks took 3 hours. Carrasco his first Yankee win. Luke Weaver the save. Merrill Kelly the loss. Perdomo had a grand slam. Aaron Judge had, well, an Aaron Judge night. Coming up on the Yes Network, stay tuned for the W.B. Mason postgame show with Bob Lorenz and Jack Curry. Special thanks to producer Troy Benjamin, director Dan Barr, Mike Webb, and the executive producer of the Yes Network is Jared Ames and Boschnack. Join us again tomorrow as the Yankees head to Pittsburgh to open a 3-game series against the Pirates. Coverage begins at 3:30 on Yes, with first pitch coming shortly after 4. Once again, the final score, it's the New York Yankees 9, the Arizona Diamondbacks 7. For Paul O'Neill and Meredith Barakovitz, I'm Michael Kay, saying see ya from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, New York. Now let's go to Bob Lorenz and Jack Curry, who are standing by in our Yes Network studios with the post-game show. Guys?
And it is great to have you with us on the WB Mason postgame. Bob Lorenz and Jack Curry with you. Good night of work for the Yankees tonight as they go to work and get a win 9-7. And, Jack, that included early work by the offense, helping Carlos Carrasco get the win, and Luke Weaver closing it out. Let's get your Hyundai opening comment.
I would classify this as a feel-good win, Bob, because anytime you score 9 runs and you get 3 home runs from the likes of Judge, Jazz, and Grisham, you're feeling good about that. But then from a human interest angle, there was some feel-good stories. Carrasco pitching into the 6th inning, getting his first win as a Yankee, trying to prove that he can be an effective major league pitcher again, just as he was in spring training. And then the catcher he was throwing pitches to all night, J.C. Ascara, at the age of 29, gets his first major league hit. The journey that he took to get to tonight, I'm sure, has everyone in that Yankee clubhouse feeling especially excited. It's always great when you get a win, but when players like Carrasco and Ascara and the journeys that they were on to get to contribute to it, it makes it even sweeter.
We're going to hear from Ascara coming up with Meredith Barakovitz. In the meantime, one of your keys on the pregame, Jack, was get some early offense and get Carrasco settled in. That's exactly what the Yankees did. Let's go back to the bottom of the 1st inning. It's our turning point of the game, brought to you by Montefiore Einstein, the official hospital of the New York Yankees. Ben Rice doubles, Cody Bellinger walks, and then up steps Judge.
Yeah, Judge saw 3 straight fastballs. Look at what Kelly's trying to do to him. He starts him off with a fastball. It's a little bit on the corner. He gets the call. This one is a little away. Now Judge has an idea of what he's trying to do to him. Okay, you're pitching me away. I'm going to jump all over that one. That fastball tailed a little bit more inside, and a patented Judge home run going the other way to right center field. 394-foot shot. He gets the foot down. Bob, it was the 500th extra base hit of Judge's career.
In his 999th game, and so the Judge numbers, Jack, are already off the charts in 6 games. 5 homers and 15 runs batted. First player in Major League history with 5 or more homers and 15 or more RBI through the team's first 6 games. He has 2 MVPs. He's piled up incredible numbers in those 2 years, and he's off to an amazing start for potentially a 3rd already.
Yeah, you look at what he did last year, and we all know that he won the MVP, and he hit 58 home runs. But even Aaron Judge has talked about how he had a sluggish start, and March into April were rough periods for him. He has started off this season as the Aaron Judge that the Yankees always expect. You detailed the numbers, Bob, but he just looks so locked in at the plate. And when you listen to Aaron Judge doing interviews, he typically tells you how he feels at the plate. And he has talked about his timing being where it needs to be. And I think that at-bat that we just showed exhibited that perfectly. He saw what Kelly was trying to do to him. Okay, you're going to go outside with fastballs. You're going to challenge me out there. I'm going to be ready. I'm going to pounce, and that's what he did.
Little different lineup for the Yankees tonight. No Goldschmidt or Wells to start this game. It was Grisham in the outfield because Judge was DHing, and lo and behold, Grisham has a big impact in this game as well. He's our optimum player of the game. 2 outs, a runner on in the bottom of the 1st, and Grisham goes right to work off Merrill Kelly, getting a hold of one here and hit it over the head of Lourdes Gurriel Jr.
Yeah, I thought the Diamondbacks outfielders played shallow in this series, Bob, and Grisham makes them pay right there. That one goes off the glove of Gurriel. Dominguez is going to come around to score from first base. Grisham has an RBI double. It's 4-0 Yankees.
And at bottom of the 3rd, Jack, he just smoked this one out to right.
Yeah, he gets a 4-seam fastball, gives the Yankees some extra breathing room, which they were going to end up needing. That made the score 6-1 at that time. But you see Grisham has that little leg kick. He gets the foot down. And as you said, Bob, just pulverizes that pitch. And then, of course, there's smiles and high fives in the dugout.
You know, homers are just lovely, Jack. They're always good to have. But how about creating some runs? That's what the Yankees did as we get to the Ford highlights. Let's go to the bottom of the fourth. Ben Rice on first, and Merrill Kelly to Cody Bellinger, and Rice takes off for second.
Yeah, sometimes you don't need to be the fastest runner, Bob, but you need to be a stealth and a savvy runner, and that's what happened there with Rice stealing that base on the pitcher.
And they're able to cash in. In scoring position, Aaron Judge, next batter. Base hit into center. Rice scores from second. So that stolen base playing up huge right there. That made it 7-3 Yankees. And the next batter, it's Judge on the move.
Yeah, Judge saw what Rice did, and he said, I think I can do the same thing. So as the pitch goes to Jazz Chisholm, he decides to seal second. 3-2 count on Jazz, and Bob, he just delivers a massive two-run homer to right field, his fourth of the season. And the pitch before, he had hit a curveball down the right field line, and it was a foul home run, or close to a home run. Then he takes the fastball out.
That's a good teammate because he allowed Judge to just jog home from second. Ryan Yarbrough on the hill, top of the seventh, bases loaded. Geraldo Perdomo drives the ball out for a grand slam. So just like that, the D-backs cut the Yankees lead to 2. But again, here's that big moment for the Yanks with 2 outs and a runner on in the bottom of the seventh, J.C. Escarra.
A lot to be proud of when you get your first major league hit, but how about when it's an 8-pitch at-bat, you foul off 4 pitches, finally you get a fastball that was up and in, you keep your hands in, you drive an RBI double into the right field corner. And this is how you celebrate when you're J.C. Escarra. Your teammates are howling for you, and you are very, very excited. There it is, the celebration, all those years, independent baseball, winter league baseball, getting released, taking all those Uber trips, Bob. That's how you celebrate.
All right, so let's go top 8 now. Luke Weaver into pitch, 2 outs. Gabe Moreno pinch hitting for Jose Herrera. Grounds it to Jazz for the final out. Yanks getting out of a jam there. It's still a 2-run game. That meant Weaver was going to be in there to get the final 3 outs.
Boone did not want to go to Weaver for more than 3 outs in the opener of this series. He does in the final game of this series. And it was a smart move by the Yankee manager as Weaver is able to close it out. You see Weaver giving the baseball to J.C. Escarra right there, making sure that he has a couple of mementos from tonight's game.
So it is a Yankees win. It's a win for J.C. Escarra, for Carlos Carrasco, his battery mate as well, who went 5 1/3. And as you take a look at the box score, every Yankee except for Oswaldo Cabrera and Cody Bellinger with at least 1 hit. They score 9 runs. They go 3 for 9 with the runners in scoring position. And for Escarra, what a moment in his first big league start. Let's hear from him with Meredith Marakovitz.
JC, it was your dream to play in the majors, and tonight you made your first start behind the plate. Can you describe the anticipation as you geared up for first pitch in this one?
Amazing, amazing. I've been waiting for this my whole life. It's a dream come true to be here. Look at this crowd, you know, a packed house on a Thursday. You know, there's no other team I'd rather play for than the Yankees right here. So thank you to everybody, you know, for the support, and you know, I'm living my dream. So you're always gonna see me with a smile on my face and doing anything to help the team win.
In the 7th inning, you recorded your first major league hit, a double to right field. Can you just take me through it all from the moment you made contact to the emotion you displayed when you reached second base?
Amazing, amazing. You know, tight game, 9-7. You know, a guy on base, 2 outs, a big situation. So you know, in my mind, you know, I didn't care. I forgot about I hadn't gotten my first hit yet, and I was just trying to put a good at bat together, and I got a pitch I can handle. Then I hit it hard.
What are you gonna do with that ball?
I got it right here in my pocket. I got my first hit ball in the clubhouse, and I got my first win right here. We've saved, but he let me keep it, so that was nice of him. But you know, I'm gonna keep this forever.
Carlos Carrasco also played a role in this one, 5 1/3 for him. How were you able to help him navigate through this one?
Amazing, amazing. I feel like, you know, it was a team effort. You know, we were working the counts right, you know, calling the right pitches, executing the right pitches, and, you know, he's a veteran, you know, one of the best to ever do it. So, you know, amazing game by him.
What are you going to remember most about tonight?
Just a crowd, just a moment, my first hit. But most importantly, that W.
Congratulations, JC.
Thank you so much.
Send it back to you.
All right, Meredith, thank you. It was interesting, Aaron Boone talking about him, Jack, on the pregame and how he mentioned that he was asked what kind of energy Escarra brings to the team. And so he said some guys are boisterous and loud, and that's fine. He's not that way, but you can tell in him talking to Meredith, there's an energy, a positivity, and appreciation for where he is.
And I'll throw one more word out there, an effervescence.
Yeah.
He is just excited and happy to be a member of the Yankees. He obviously spent a few moments connecting with a friend after the win, but I noticed that in spring training, Bob, just how he connected with his teammates, always smiling by his locker. And we sometimes talk about his story, and it's almost easy to gloss over the details. Oh, he drove an Uber. Oh, he was a substitute teacher. He told me there was about a 4-month period where he was ready to give up baseball. He didn't think it was worth it anymore. He thought he had had his opportunity, and that opportunity was taken away from him. But then he is so thankful that he decided to give it one more shot. He played independent baseball. He played in Mexico. He played in the Dominican. And last year, everything clicked for him as a member of the Yankee organization. He always was known as a hitter, but the defensive side caught up last season. And this guy is a bona fide major league catcher, a backup catcher to Austin Wells. But to see him have that moment tonight, we're journalists, we're objective, but you have to be happy for a guy when that happens. It's a feel-good moment.
By the way, you also have to appreciate, as much as he's grinded to get to this point, you talked about the offense, and I mentioned this to Jack after that at-bat, and we showed the replays, the swing that he has. I mean, that is a legit, effortless left-handed swing.
He played high school baseball, actually youth league baseball, all the way up in high school against Nestor Cortez. They're both from Hialeah, Florida. And last year, I asked Nestor Cortez about him, and he said he could always hit. That's all he said. Because I've lost track of where his career tilted into a different direction, but he could always hit. And you're right, Bob. Some guys look the part, and all throughout spring training, J.C. Escarra looked the part. He hit over 300 in spring training. He won a batting title in the Dominican Winter Leagues. Yadi Molina has managed him and coached him and given him a ton of advice. So he gets that first hit tonight, and he hopes he has many more memories like that this season.
And he helped him get the W. That was the most important thing to him. We got to take a break. We'll talk more about that W coming up. 9-7 over the Diamondbacks as the Yanks get back on the winning track. We'll hear from Aaron Boone coming up next.
Game show on Yes is presented by WB Mason. Get fast free delivery of food service products you need at prices you'll love. Request your free catalog today at WBMason.com. The Yankees post-game show on Yes is brought to you in part by your local tri-state Genesis retailers. Learn more at Genesis.com.
The good stories abound in the Yankees' 9-7 win over the Diamondbacks. Carlos Carrasco gets the win. His battery mate J.C. Escarra gets his first big league hit. And Aaron Judge with his 5th home run. He knocked in 4 runs and has 15 RBI on the season. Let's hear from Aaron Boone now in the manager's report, brought to you by Toyota.
Aaron, what really allowed the offense to get to Merrill Kelly early?
Yeah, a lot of contributors, a lot of really good at-bats. Ben Rice setting the tone at the top, had some really good at-bats. Obviously, Judge, a big shot right away, and then up and down, Jazz, JD, Grish, just a lot of really good at-bats all night to keep the pressure on, and obviously we end up needing it, most of it.
You mentioned Judge, I believe 5 home runs now, 15 RBIs to the first 6 games of the season. Do you just say it's what we expect at this point from him?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like he's still getting there, which is remarkable. So, but love that first swing. See him going that way. He had the base hit last night. Had another base hit up the middle there to give us a little insurance run early. Just, love that approach for him.
You mentioned Grisham. I know it was his role essentially last year, but again, not getting everyday playing time. Just how difficult is that to come in and contribute when you're not getting every day?
I really want to try and get him more regular reps when I can. So far, we've been able to do it. Whether he's in there, in some way, shape, or form, he's been getting at bats. I think he's had a great look to him really all spring. He was a week, 10 days behind with the hamstring coming into camp, but he's really looked good moving to me. I feel like his swing's in a good place, so trying to get him in there where I can, because this is what he's capable of.
It's been a long road for Escarra. Made his first start behind the plate tonight. Gets his first hit in that 7th inning. Can you just describe what it's like when you witness that and a guy essentially fulfilling his dream?
Yeah, it was awesome. I thought he did a great job behind the plate. Thought he was in command back there. Did a great job with Cookie, and every time he walks up there, he's got that hitterish thing about him. I always feel like so. I thought he was gonna. I thought even before he got the hit, I'm like feeling good every time he's up there, like he's gonna. And he just missed a couple, but put together a really good at bat there to get his first one.
Tyler to the right.
Aaron, you said of Judge, I feel like he's still getting there.
No, that's the scary part.
Where could he be going, and what is he not doing? It looks like he's doing everything.
Yeah, it's that part of me that takes him for granted a little bit. Like I just feel like he should hit an extra base hit every time. Yeah, it's just I'm kind of say it out loud just to try and remind myself, what we're watching every day.
To the left, Brian.
Aaron, as a team, you guys have hit 22 home runs in 6 games here. What do you make of this first homestand?
Yeah, I really felt good about our position player group all spring. Felt like for the most part, guys were leaving spring in a really good place, and it's carried over here in the first week of the season. From a run production standpoint, obviously. So, but it's 1 week. It's. I'd say that if we were scuffling a little bit too. But I feel like we have a lot of really capable hitters. And, it's good to see most of them off on a really good note.
Dan?
How important was it for Carrasco to give you the performance that he did?
It was huge. 5 1/3. More of what we saw in spring, the only... with the lead, he had the 2 leadoff walks that came back to hurt him a little bit. But in and around that, I thought he was really good. The changeup was good. I thought he used his fastball, the 4-seam, and the sinker both effectively to really set up the secondary. I thought he was real poised, real in command. And again, that's a really good lineup. That's a really good team. That's a heavy team, right? You feel playing those guys.
And is that a nice luxury to have Luke Weaver as, a closer when your closer's not here?
It is. And it's nice to see Luke throw the ball like that. That's probably the best he's thrown the ball since the World Series. Thought it was coming out good tonight. Command of his secondary, the cutter and the change were both really good. That was big, and to do it, fairly efficiently because he hasn't had those 2 ups yet. So, that was really good to see, and I thought he was really crisp.
Ron.
You said with Aaron you sort of get complacent and expect an extra base hit every time up.
Yeah.
How often do you have to snap yourself and think what he's doing?
All the time. He hit the double today. I'm like, all right. Probably could have done more with that pitch. And I'm like, he's 3 for 4, single, double, homer. And then the last one, he hits a ball 110 to the shortstop. I'm like, did you miss that 1-0? So I catch myself having these ridiculous conversations with him sometimes just because he keeps setting the bar so darn high.
To the left, James.
Aaron, Ben Rice, more hard contact tonight, on base 3 times. Do you envision yourself leading him off more often, or just with Wells and Goldschmidt out? Was that really the product of that?
I don't know. I like him up there. I like him in the batter's box. So we'll see. I think I've said the word fluid with it. It'll continue to be that. I feel like we have a lot of really good, capable hitters. Depending who we're facing and what our 9 guys are that day, I'm trying to put them together as best as possible. But I feel like a lot of guys can handle that, Rice included.
Okay, thank you, Aaron.
Always interesting to hear Aaron and his take on certainly like Aaron Judge and what he's doing right now. And I always think to what Judge says. Like Judge himself says, I'm still kind of rounding into shape. I'm not there yet. So that's kind of the way Boone sees it, too.
I always chuckle when Aaron Judge says that because he could be on his way to an MVP season, as we saw last year, but he's never satisfied. He's always reaching higher. He's always trying to climb higher up the mountain. And I do think that that's the kind of trait, Bob, that the greatest do have. You always believe that there's more work to be done. I had a conversation with Aaron Boone about Aaron Judge in spring training, and he said some of the same things that he just said in that press conference. Judge is so good, so productive, and puts up incredible numbers that Boone said, I have to remind myself not to take for granted what he does. And even the way he recapped Judge's night tonight. Oh, did you miss a pitch there? And maybe you could have hit that one a little bit harder. And it's only 6 games, but you see what he's done across those first 6 games. And how about his other numbers, Bob? .417 average, .481 on base percentage, and a .687 slugging percentage. So that timing and that balance and not missing pitches, 3 of the things that Judge always talks about, they've been pretty close to perfect for the first week, although he won't say it. We can say it.
Well, very effective in a 9-7 win tonight. We'll take a break. When we come back, Jack and I will talk more about Carlos Carrasco and his first start of the season. We'll hear from him as well, so stick around.
Post-game show on Yes is brought to you in part by your local Kia dealers. Visit Kia.com to discover movement that inspires.
Carlos Carrasco getting the ball for the Yanks tonight. He is our pitching decisions presented by Sage. And, Jack, we saw a lot tonight of what made him really successful during spring training.
Yeah, this is what Kenny Singleton would call a swing back sinker to get Corbin Carroll in the first inning. 2 batters later, it's a 2-2 count to Smith. He gets him looking on the slider, so he retires the side in order in the first. Top of the third, Perdomo swings over the changeup. Top of the fourth, nobody out, 2 runners on, 0-2 count to Gurriel Jr. He drives that one down the third base line. 1 run comes in to score. At that point, Arizona trails 6-2. But Carrasco keeps going. He gets to the top of the 5th, and he is going to get Carroll to hit into this nifty 3-3-6 double play turned by Rice and Volpe. He exited in the 6th, Bob, but we saw a lot of what we talked about on the pregame. The veteran savvy and a nice mixture of pitches.
82 pitches, heavy on the slider, change and sinker. As you said, kind of stayed away from that 4-seamer, which got him into trouble last year. So he has really mixed up his repertoire. Let's hear from Carrasco on our Genesis Sounds of the Day.
Carlos, when you look at that lineup over there, just how difficult is it to navigate through?
You know what? It's kind of a little bit, but, you know, you had to find a way. And pretty much that's what we did today.
How were you able to do that tonight in your mind? How were you able to get through it?
You know what? I just went out there just getting out and make my pitches. And I made 2 bad pitches that it cost me 2 runs right there, but I get back to the game. I think that's more important, and just hold it right there.
JC Escar was making his first start behind the plate. Just did you see any nerves from him? How was it like throwing to him?
Really, I didn't see anything. Pretty much, I was really impressed what we did on the before the game, the scout report and everything. He just followed everything. He was unbelievable back there.
Tough first 2 games of this series. Did you feel pressure to kind of be the stopper, make sure you keep this team in the game?
You know what? No. I just went out there and just give opportunity to win the game, and that's what we did. They came back. We made 9 runs, and I think that's pretty good.
What was your feeling when you came out and there was a standing ovation from the crowd? I hope you heard that.
Yes, I heard that. It was really good, and I did the same back to them because they always support. We always had the support from them too. So.
How sweet was it to get the early run support the way you did?
Yes, I got the run early, and I think the more important just to go out there and put some 0, and that's what I did. On the second inning, I got 1 run, but I just came back and put some 0, and I think that's the more important. Just keep it close.
Carlos, when you went walk, single, double there to start the 1 inning, just what went right over those next 3 batters to kind of limit the damage there?
You know what? I just made the right pitches. And pretty much that's what we did. We made the right pitches, and we get out.
Jack, I want to go back to something you said on the pregame, and that's that two of the best storylines, in your opinion, going into the spring were Carrasco and J.C. Escarra. They both have an impact in winning tonight's game.
Yeah, and even listening to Carrasco right there, what a pro. This guy has done this before, made almost 300 starts at the major league level. When Meredith asked him if he felt any pressure, he said no, he didn't feel any pressure. You know, he probably felt a little bit of pressure. The Yankees didn't want to get swept. He wanted to make sure he made a strong first impression. But let's talk about the pitches that he relies on the most, the sinker and that split change. The Diamondbacks were 2 for 13 against those pitches. I think it just shows you how smart a pitcher Carrasco is, how he knows to mix up his pitches well. And the Yankees would sign up for this every start for Carrasco the rest of the year. 2 outs shy of a quality start. With their offense, if their starter gets them into the 6th inning, allowing 3 runs, that has to be a game they feel they can win every time.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to wrangle out of that rotation if he keeps doing this. We got to take a break. Stick around. We'll hear from the captain, Aaron Judge, with another big night in a 9-7 Yankees win. Stick around for the captain next.
The Yankees postgame show on Yes is brought to you in part by your local Hyundai dealers. There's never been a better time to test drive that Hyundai you've always wanted. Visit HyundaiUSA.com today.
499 career extra base hits for Judge.
Ideal situation for Aaron Judge.
There it goes. See ya. His 500th extra base hit. His 5th home run of the year. 3rd fastest in Yankee history to get to 500 extra base hits. 1 game shy of his 1,000th game.
Aaron Judge providing more memorable moments provided by Prevagen, and fewest games to 500 extra base hits. You heard Michael mention it. Joe D got their quickest at 853. Lou Gehrig 869. But for Judge, happened in his 999th game. Let's hear from the captain.
And what you think of just the overall team effort offensively tonight?
Great start. You know, you go back to Ben Rice there leading it off. A little double to get things going, and we're able to put up, you know, a couple runs there in the first to kind of help out Cookie, you know, making his first start for us. It was, you know, just a good answer back, you know, based on the past 2 games here at home where, you know, we couldn't get the job done, kind of took one on the chin there, and, you know, coming out with the big first inning and, you know, a couple other big key hits throughout the whole game kind of help us, you know, salvage this last one on the homestand.
When you jump out like that in the first, does it allow the offense as a whole to just exhale a little bit based on what had happened the last night or two?
We never exhale. It's we've seen that too many times in this game where, you know, you score early and the team answers right back. You know, that's what they kind of did tonight. You know, they had that big grand slam late in the game. So, you know, it's just kind of been our thing. You know, the beginning of this year is, you know, don't let off the gas. Keep scoring until you know, you get that final out, and we were able to do that tonight.
500 extra base hits in your career. Tomorrow's your 1,000th game. Like, do you ever take stock of what you've done to this point in a quiet moment?
No, you got to keep moving forward. I'll look at it when I'm an old man coming to Old Timers Day. I can look back and we can joke about it and laugh about it, but there's a lot of work to be done. So no time to sit and.
Do you even notice, or does it meaning that you're in the category with Gehrig and DiMaggio for the 3 fastest to get to that seat?
It's definitely an incredible honor, but I try not to look at too much into it. You know, like I said, I got a lot of work to do, and we'll keep it at that.
Given your consistency, Boone was saying, semi-jokingly, that when you get a double or a single, he kids you. That's all you could do with it.
Yeah, he gives me a little smirk when I get on base like that, but he just expects the best out of all of us. You know, not just me. I think any guy in this room, he expects us to go out there and do something special, and you got to love that as a manager to continue to push you.
Is there any part of you that thinks that as well? I know you're always striving to do even more, even though you already have ridiculous numbers to start.
Nah, I got to go out there and do my job, you know, especially with how Jazz has been swinging the bat behind me. You know, I'll take my singles, I'll take my doubles. You know, if he's going to go out there and hit homers, you know, drive the ball around the field like he's doing right now. it doesn't always have to be a homer with a guy like that behind me.
Jazz said he told you he wants to be you when he grows up. What did you answer to that?
Well, I told him I was going to catch him in stolen bases this year, so I think we're both trying to beat each other. But it's going to be a good year. You know, we're going to go out there and continue to push each other. I think everybody in this whole clubhouse, you know, is striving to be great. You know, especially after last season where we weren't able to finish the job. Just guys are motivated to go out there and do something special, and it starts. You know, every game you play starts in that first at bat, and you got to do something special.
What's the feeling like?
Last year started a little differently for you. Was there anything you tried to focus on this year to get off to such a fast start?
It's just how we prepared in spring training. You know, do a couple things a little different just to get myself ready for opening day. I think that's the most important thing. Spring training last year, I think I played in the first game. It was kind of play a day, off a day, play a day, off a day. I kind of wanted to ramp up, so you know, I was playing basically almost every day, kind of going into the season, so be ready to go. So, yeah, just little changes like that. Nothing crazy.
Aaron J.C.'s story is well publicized. Just what's the feeling like in this clubhouse, seeing him make his first major league start and getting his first career hit?
We're all excited. You know, we're all pulling for that guy. You know, we all know his story. But besides that, just the type of person he is, you know, battle through that type of adversity. You know, he's come in here every single day with a smile on his face, you know, trying to make guys better, trying to push guys all the way in spring training. You know, seeing it, it's been fun to watch and fun to be around because he just brings a different energy into this clubhouse, and it's contagious. But then for him to go out there, get his first knock, first win behind the plate, especially with a veteran pitcher like Carrasco, that's a tough ask. You know, it's a veteran guy, knows what he wants to do, and he's a rookie just coming up. But I think that chemistry they built kind of started in spring training and kind of went into this first start, so we were all excited. I think if you replay the video of the dugout, we were all pretty juiced for him.
Boone said that was maybe the best Weaver had looked since the World Series. I guess when you have that with Williams gone, just how much of a luxury is that for you guys?
That's huge. That's huge. You can't replace a Devin Williams, but you know, you got a guy like Luke Weaver who, you know, we all saw what he did. You know, they're the last month and a half with us, and especially in the postseason. So to have him go out there, you know, I was DHing, so I got a pretty good look. Kind of see some stuff on TV, and he was dotting all his pitches. Good feel for all his pitches, and then there in the last inning, you know, good feel for the changeup, working the fastball off it down and away. It's going to be a nasty combo down there at the back end.
Aaron Christian said this was a character win for you guys because they didn't want to be swept after you swept the first series. Do you agree with that? Did you think it was that big for you guys to not get swept here?
Yeah, definitely, especially after coming off, you know, opening day and that first series, going out there and, you know, scoring all the runs. People are talking about bats, talking about this and that. Just a lot of distractions. So I think guys, you know, you can't get caught up in the distraction with the media saying. You got to go out there and keep playing. So I think we all kind of locked it in. Big G said a couple words before the game just about, you know, this is our home turf. You know, we got to go out there and we don't get swept at home. So, you know, guys took that to heart, and we were able to, you know, salvage that last one.
Well, Jack, it bears repeating. The home runs are great. He's off to an epic start. But also, he was kind of joking about Jazz Chisholm Jr. and stolen bases. Seeing him steal a base, seeing Ben Rice do it, those were high baseball IQ plays that are going to propel the Yankees to really great things this season if they can do that and then create runs.
Right, the home runs are always great, but when you can make those little plays, maybe that don't get as much attention, those plays are going to help you win games. And earlier, Aaron Boone talked about how he sometimes takes Aaron Judge for granted. I think we all sometimes take for granted that he's not just a home run hitter. To your point, he's an all-around player. He's an excellent hitter, not just an excellent power hitter. He's a Gold Glove caliber defender. He's an excellent base runner. So all of those things help make the Yankees the team that they are. And I do think it was important that they struck first in this game, Bob. We talked about it. The top four in the order, 3 for 31 in the first 2 games against the Diamondbacks. And then, boom, first inning today, those 4 players helped contribute to the Yankees scoring 4 runs, giving Carrasco a little more breathing room, and then the Yankees hang on. After Yarbrough had a rocky inning, Boone stayed with him, but Weaver got the 4-out save.
So 3 home runs for the Yankees. We'll take a break, and more on those home runs. Aaron Judge started things off with that 3-run shot. The first, Trent Grisham came up, knocked one out of the yard. Then Jazz Chisholm Jr. followed up as well as part of a 9-7 Yankees win.
The Yankees postgame show on Yes is brought to you in part by FanDuel. New FanDuel customers can get $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins.
Yankees hitters popped 3 more homers out of the yard. They got 22 in 6 games. That leads the majors. It is a major league record through 6 games. Both Jazz and Trent Grisham hitting them out tonight. Let's hear from them postgame.
Jazz, just what do you make of the offensive start for you guys tonight? How were you able to get on the board so early?
I mean, Aaron Judge. Nah, but as a team, man, guys keep getting on for him, and he just keeps on performing, man, and showing us why he's the MVP of the league and one of the best players to ever play this game. You know, we all just try to be like him. You know what I mean? Like, we all tell him every day, like, hey, we want to be you when we grow up. But at the same time, we're just out here playing a team game, man, and it's just like we got our big brother leading us, and he helps a lot.
Trent was asked about him and his start to the season, and he just kind of said, typical. Do you kind of feel the same way? This is just expected, this type of great performance?
Aaron Judge. And that's my answer to it, Aaron Judge, you know. Like I said, like, he's showing everybody why he's MVP and one of the best baseball players to ever play, man. Like, think of last year, he hit, what, 58 or something like that, and had a bad first month. So imagine right now what he's about to do, you know. I'm just trying to keep up.
Did it mean anything to hit the home run against your former team?
No, I've hit a home run against them before, so it didn't matter anymore. But for me, it's always good beating them, though. You know, it's always good to play against your old team, especially old coaches. See him over there. Joe Mather was my first manager in professional baseball, so to see him, and I still got a lot of love for him. So good to see him. Pavin Smith and I came up to the work together. Alec Thomas and Perdomo were in the Big Brother program that we had over there, and they're my little brothers over there. So at the same time, it's a lot of friends that I had over there, but it's always good to beat them, you know.
How about your own start? Not too far behind Judge's.
That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to keep up, you know. He's just amazing, man, and that's why you just try to follow him and try to pick his brain and watch him and learn from him every day, man. You see him going there with the poise. Like, even if he doesn't hit a home run, what was he tonight, 3 for 4? Like, stolen. He's starting to steal bags now. Like, it's just getting ridiculous out of him, man. Like, what can you do with someone that's doing it like that? You know what I mean?
But your own performance, too, has been pretty high up there.
I mean, I'm okay compared to him. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to get to his level right now, you know? But, you know, like I told him, I'm not going to try and fall behind him too far. You know, I got to keep up with him.
Jazz, when you have somebody like Weaver who can come in that spot without Williams and just deliver a 4-out save, how much of a luxury is that for you guys?
I mean, it's amazing to have 2 of the best relievers in your bullpen, you know. The end of the game comes around and those 2 come in the game, and you already know 8th and 9th inning. It's going to be hard to get a hit off of those guys or score off of them. So it's always great seeing them come out there, especially Luke with his Star Wars walkout. I love it. I be out there saluting him and stuff like that because I love it. But, you know, it's great to have those 2 guys at the end of your bullpen, man.
From your perspective, how were you guys able to get to Kelly early in this one?
We just came out with an aggressive approach. Kind of the same approach we try to take against everybody, but we're really getting him up and doing some damage early.
Double for you in that first inning, home run there in the third, another hit later in the game. Aaron Boone had noted you kind of were a little bit behind to start spring training. How were you able to get up to pace and really start to contribute early this season?
Well, I think I got a good number of at-bats in spring. It felt like a normal spring. Just started a little later, but everything felt good.
What has it been like watching Judge for the last year plus every day for you?
I mean, he's the best player in the league, so to get to watch him day in and day out is special. Just to take note of some of the things he does and how consistent he is, just about how he goes about it.
What do you make of the start that he's off to?
Typical.
Aaron Boone had kind of said in the post-game press conference he has to almost pinch himself sometimes. If he gets a double, he thinks, oh, maybe he should have homered there. If he gets a single, oh, he could have doubled. Do you ever do that? Catch yourself saying, I can't believe he didn't do even more that time?
No, I'd never do that. I just take it for what it is.
Aaron had said that this year he's trying to get you more at bats than you did at the beginning of last year. Does that help a little bit that you play almost every game at some point?
Yeah, I think anytime consistent at-bats helps. But my job is to be ready every day, no matter if it's off the bench or if I'm starting that day.
I know it's early, but a little significance to the win to avoid the sweep?
Yeah, definitely. Just kind of a character game for us. After sweeping the first series, coming out on a high, you don't want to get swept going into the next one. So, yeah.
We've talked about a lot of contributors in this game. Grisham gets the start, goes 3 for 4. And for Jazz, you go back to that at bat, and you detailed this. The pitch prior to the home run, he basically hits a foul home run, in essence, a towering shot, and stays locked in at the at-bat, Jack, to make sure that next pitch, if it was a good one, he gets it, and he got it.
Yeah, Jazz has had some feisty at-bats this season. That one qualifies as another. You're exactly right, Bob. He was on that curveball and hit it down the right field line, so then when he gets a fastball and subsequent pitch, he hits it over the fence. I'm trying to figure out, though, after listening to Jazz during that interview, if he's excited about being on the Yankees and excited about being Aaron Judge's teammate. I can't really figure that out.
Yeah.
But obviously, in all seriousness, you watch him, and he plays the game with such joy. He brings a dynamic quality to everything that he does on the field. And when the Yankees added him last year, it was just an injection of offense between the speed and the power that he can provide. And now the fact, Bob, that he's back at second base, where he's an even better second baseman than he was at third, which he handled adequately. It's tightened up that Yankee defense.
Well, let's take one more break here on the WB Mason postgame. But when we come back, we look ahead to Friday's opener in Pittsburgh. And Max Fried getting his second go-round. Jack and I will talk about the lefty coming up next.
The Yankees postgame show on Yes is brought to you in part by Audi, the official luxury vehicle of the New York Yankees. Visit your tri-state Audi dealer today.
Does the ball go with you and your wife or your mom?
Yeah, so no, I'm dedicating that ball to my pops. Long-time Yankee fan, lived in Yonkers 15 years. Been through a lot, so he deserves that ball, and you know, he's gonna be happy.
Pops gets the ball for J.C. Escarra. He also got the game-winning ball from Luke Weaver, so he's got some good little swag at the end of tonight's game, getting the win.
J.C. Escarra is going to be the story that just keeps on giving for Yankee fans, for people who cover the team, Bob, because he's so excited to be here, but he's not just a guy who got here without a lot of hard work, and he deserves to be here. He's a really good hitter. I think we're going to have a lot of these moments from J.C. Escarra, although none will top tonight. You get your first major league hit. I mean, you're holding that in your heart forever.
Well, let's find out if he figures into the Yes Press headline. Boys in the back have been off for the last couple nights, but they're back in action tonight. What do you got for the headline?
You're exactly right. He does fit into tonight's headline, because tonight's headline is feeling good in the neighborhood. Judge, Cookie, and J.C. shine. Understood? That's the direction we went tonight.
I love it. And the first time, clearly, you've ever used Cookie in one of the Yes Press headlines.
First time. There was that time that Sesame Street called and wanted one of my
Yeah,
headlines,
right.
But no, that is the first time, and it just flowed a little better with Cookie, and I think the boys in the back were happy with that one, and I did get them a dozen chocolate chips for tonight.
Oh, that's nice, yeah.
A little
And
extra.
they ate them like Cookie Monsters, probably. Well, let's take a look at what's coming up against the Pirates. Courtesy of Nissan, these are the pitchers. And, you know, again, weird start times for the first two games. It's Pittsburgh's home opener tomorrow. They're playing an afternoon game. Our pregame coverage begins at 3:30. All the games on Yes, Saturday afternoon. Our coverage at 3 and Sunday at 12:30. Yankees will send out Max Fried, Marcus Stroman, and Will Warren. And for Max Fried, he wants to tighten things up personally. Got his first start. It was that 20-9 win over Milwaukee. He did not pitch that well. He'd like to turn that around.
Yeah, he ended up being a footnote in that game because of what you just said, Bob. The Yankees scored 20 runs. They hit 9 home runs. But when you're a pitcher out there on the mound and that kind of offense is flowing, at the very least, you want to get a win, and he fell shy of that. It wasn't all of his fault. He allowed 6 runs, but 4 of them were unearned. The Yankees' defense betrayed him. I feel as if Max Fried almost wants to hit the reset button and say, okay, I'm going to show exactly who I am in my second start. We saw some flashes of that in the opener, but as you said, a little uneven. The Yankees expecting a lot more from their ace. He's their #1 guy. I know Rodon started game 1, but the Yankees consider Fried their ace.
Max Fried wants a little piece of the Yes Press headline. I think that's...
Everybody does. Everybody does.
All right, that's going to do it for us. Thanks for joining us all night long here on Yes and the Gotham Sports app. Yankees get the 9-7 win, powered by 3 home runs, including number 5 on the season from Aaron Judge. Our coverage on Friday begins at 3:30 with the pregame. First pitch a little after 4 o'clock from Pittsburgh. Look forward to seeing you then. Take care.